Today, I wanted to talk about why so many of you can understand English but find it hard to speak.
Not sure, but that would be the good name of their show, wouldn't it?
So it's kind of like are you kind of putting in like a bromance type thing?
What did you hear? What I did you really catch? I know you're in there doing like first. I decided to use the first letter of Terry's name.
Right. I heard Jerry.
Well, I said Tay, maybe Terry and Jay, and then I decided I'd mess it up one more time by going with Jerry.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You're very trendy.
Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness.
The early game. 107.5, The Game.
Get up, get going. It is National Signing Day. The early signing period is officially here and underway. South Carolina with a big Tuesday night, picking up several commitments, and we will get all the breakdown of it. They add Big Tree Babalade back to the mix. They add themselves the number one junior college defensive tackle in Elijah Davis yesterday, and they add a couple tight ends, I should say. I was going to say they add a high school tight end, and they add a transfer tight end. We will get you all of that this morning as we get you up and rolling on our signing day. We'll call it a spectacular. I've been using that word a little bit too frequently lately as it refers to this particular program and anything else I've done in my life, but that's what it is. And today, the fax machines get going, and we will carry you through the morning. Got a lot to do here. Markee Anderson, the Gamecocks' top-rated signee, will join us at 7:15. The interior offensive lineman from Dorman, South Carolina, who pledged the Gamecocks back on July 31st. He will join us at 7:15 this morning and talk about his commitment. He's an early enrollee. We'll talk about him heading down to campus in just a few weeks and look forward to that. Coming up at 7:30, right after that, for an hour, we'll be joined by J.C. Shurburtt, and we'll get into this recruiting class for the Gamecocks. As today, it won't be over. It's the new weird, I don't know, it's not new anymore, early signing day now. Kind of more of the norm than it is the still kind of a new baby here. It's happened for several different years now, and South Carolina will not only look to add and sign all of their commitments, all 22 commitments this morning that are currently out of the high school and junior college ranks, as Elijah Davis is, but they'll look to add a few more when we roll into the February signing day. I don't know exactly how we're supposed to keep labeling all this, but if you want to be a part of the program, love to have you this morning. Couple different ways for you to hop in, offer your insight. You can join us, as always, on our live stream. Jeff, Jerry, Anthony, DC, LeVar, all in there and ready to sign their own paperwork to be a part of some program, preferably South Carolina. We'll catch up with all those guys on the live stream, read you their comments throughout the morning. DC saying, going to be an exciting day. I can feel it. Yeah, I thought yesterday would be the day that most of the fireworks kind of happened for the Gamecocks, and sure enough it was, as again the Gamecocks get Babalade, Big Tree Babalade, the offensive lineman whose first name I am not even going to try and pronounce. They got him back in the boat. They added again Elijah Davis, a 4-star defensive tackle from the junior college ranks. And you've also got a couple tight ends committing. So it was a bunch of fireworks. We'll cover all of that coming up here in just a few minutes. And then you had a lot of things, not just for South Carolina, but kind of across the country. So it was a big kind of signing day eve. So you can hop on our live stream, be a part of it there. Go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game, click join, subscribe, hop in the chat room, talk with everybody, and be a part of the program that way. You can also weigh in on our Firehouse Subs text line, as B from Columbia does, and says, signing day, let's go, Beamer. When was the last time we flipped multiple kids at the finish? The tight end, the Lenore Sellers, maybe the Rock Hill kid that decommitted from West Virginia. Find some joy and trust, Coach Beamer. All we got is all we need. Throwing in all the all the catchphrases there this morning from the last several weeks. So, again, if you want to be a part of the program, you can do so on our Love Chevy phone lines as well, 803-404-6100. Or, again, you can hop on the chat room, go to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game, click join, subscribe, be a part of the program that way. We'll get to all of this morning. Again, a lot of news from yesterday and last night, multiple commitments for the Gamecocks, and we'll break down a couple of those, why they're big, why they're important. We'll look at a few people here in this class, how it impacts the Gamecocks moving into 2023. We've already had Grayson Howard on from a few weeks ago. Maybe let you re-listen to a few things he had to say. And again, Markee Anderson coming up this morning at 7:15 to talk about his commitment and signing with the Gamecocks. And then at 7:30, J.C. Shurburtt. We'll get out to those Love Chevy phone lines when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 1075 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. The debate continues to simmer about whether roughing the passer calls should be subject to video review and coaches' challenges. I say yes, folks. These calls are affecting games way too much. The league also needs to clarify what exactly constitutes a roughing penalty. Right now, it's left up to the referees, making it way too subjective and inconsistent and driving us crazy as fans and analysts. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
Give the gift of the Cheesecake Factory. Through December 31st, get a free $15 bonus card for every $50 gift card purchased at thecheesecakefactory.com or at any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
Are you ready? At Lowe's, it pays to be a pro. Now through January 6th, Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards members earn 1 bonus point for every dollar spent on qualifying purchases with the Lowe's Business Credit Account. Redeem bonus points for cool rewards for your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards today to start earning. Subject to credit approval, Lowe's terms and exclusions. See Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points and Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms for details. U.S. only.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax.
Got locked out of the building again. That was cool. Like this time they flat deadbolted the door. I was out there about to break the door trying to get in.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000 square foot facility is complete with a massive 2-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai. Farrow and Killian Road, where price sells cars.
It's that most wonderful time of the year again, and if you need a special present for that special someone, count on it. Nothing conveys affection like a gift of fine jewelry. Hi, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers for 3 reasons you just got to come see us this year to make it a Christmas to remember. First, we have the largest selection of jewelry.
All right.
So if you're looking for something special, odds are you'll find it here. Second, we have the best prices anywhere. And that's not just in mined diamond jewelry. We also have over $1 million in lab-grown diamonds and lab-grown diamond jewelry with prices you just won't find anywhere else. And third, if you want to take advantage of financing, we have a variety of interest-free financing offers with no down payment required. So why stress over what to get this Christmas? Come see us at Tradition and get a better piece of jewelry at a better price. Guaranteed. Merry Christmas from Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington on Sunset and at Sandhills across from the fountain. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
With COVID-19 still present in our community, the South Carolina Department on Aging hopes you and your loved ones stay safe during this time. We encourage older adults, family caregivers, and adults living with disabilities to learn more about how the COVID-19 vaccine can help protect against severe illness or death. For more information on how to keep you and your family safe, call the national hotline at 1-800-232-0233. That's 800-232-0233.
Good morning. This is a perfect day for traffic. As of right now, we have no slowdowns. That's happening right here in the Midlands. We'll keep it right here as we keep you updated on your traffic. And I'm Trey Nicholson.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. 1075 The Game's early exciting
Whew.
day.
Good luck, Adam. Sounds busy.
By Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
All right, we're off. Only got locked out of the building again. It's been here for 6 years. It's happened twice now in less than a week. I believe they're trying to tell me something. Reminder, today will be our last show of the week, or my last show of the week. Be off tomorrow and Friday. I'll also be off Monday and Tuesday. Come back and start getting you ready for the bowl game on Friday. So today we will get you as much information as possible. A big day yesterday for South Carolina and its recruiting efforts in 2022, getting that 2023 class in. They'll now try and get a nice, neat bow on it. And we'll tell you all about what happened yesterday, last night, if you're just waking up, if you missed it. One question to get to, that's a very good question here. This is, I believe, from Joey here that sends in this morning, or who is this? Anonymous texter. No, who? Yeah, one of the anonymous texters says, do transfers count against the total number you can sign? Remember, there is a new NCAA rule. There is not a set number that South Carolina has to sign. You know, in years past, it's been 25 was the hard cap, was the number. That is no longer the case. You can sign as many kids as you want. What Deion Sanders is doing at Colorado, where he has basically told some of his current Colorado players to hit the portal. If Deion wanted to basically flip the entire roster, if he wants to sign 50 kids, high school kids plus transfers, you can do that now. The number that you're paying attention to is the 85-man scholarship limit. So again, like what you're possibly going to see out at Colorado, you can bring in as many kids now, as many new kids as you want. You just have to be under that 85, or you have to be at that 85-man scholarship limit come August. So that's kind of what you're paying attention to. So South Carolina, hypothetically, if I'm counting correctly here, has got 22 high school commitments, and they have 4 transfers. I think 26 for those of you out there that are a little bit too sleepy to get up and do some math. So the Gamecocks with 26 total, obviously still looking to add more. They could very well get over 30 when things are all said and done. And it makes sense with the transfer portal, with guys transferring out, to not have a hard cap on the number of players you can sign or bring in. It does make sense to have that 85-man scholarship limit. So for those of you out there wondering how South Carolina's going to make the numbers work, or, you know, you're going, well, wait a minute, they're at this number, and we still want to add Nicholas Harbor, or we want to try and go after a few kids here or there, then what you end up having right now is a situation where you can sign, again, as many as you want. I mean, while it would be insane, technically, if you want to flip all 85 kids, if you want to tell every scholarship player you have to get lost, which I feel like is what Deion is doing, and bring in 85 brand new kids, yes, you could indeed do that. Probably not the smartest way to go about it, but that would be an option. So South Carolina sits with 22 high school commitments, 4 transfers. We'll talk about those this morning. One of them, I think, was a massive pickup yesterday. I'll tell you about him in just a second. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines, though. A man who has seen many a signing day, Gamecock Larry, happier than most, not feeling too shabby this morning. How are you doing, big guy? How you feeling?
I want to wish all the Gamecock Nation have a good Christmas, and I want all my friends to call me because I lost a doggone contact. My daughter got me a new phone, and I can't have that aggravating thing. I wish I had my old flip top back. But let me tell you, I'm going to sit back here, then got up, took almost medicine, almost shots and everything I got to do. Got my breakfast in the microwave, just got to warm it up, done read my Bible. Think about the day signing day. Man, they's going to be a good Christmas gift. We're going to get a top-notch signing here today. But I want to wish all of you a good Christmas. Have a good, I don't know what I'm going to say, but anyway, have a Merry Christmas. That's what I wanted to say. Merry Christmas. Bill, I'm going to miss you for a week, but I hope the good Lord keep me around where I can have you next Wednesday when you get back. Go Gamecocks. Have a great time. Love all y'all. Go Gamecocks. Talk to you later.
There you go. Okay. Now he got where he was going there with some Go Gamecocks and everything. So if you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100. Let's get you a little breakdown of what happened yesterday. It was a busy day. Let's start with there were a lot of commitments, a lot of things happening. One of the things that yesterday pops up is South Carolina lands Trey Knox. This was something that a lot of people kind of had suspected. He comes from Arkansas, basically comes with Dow Loggins. A lot of people suspected Trey Knox was going to go into the portal regardless of what Dow Loggins did because of the way he was used. Arkansas's offense, not exactly tight end friendly. They really didn't do a good job. Kind of, you could say, very similar to South Carolina, not really being able to utilize, say, Jaheim Bell. This is actually, to me, almost a fair trade. It's not a trade given that Jaheim Bell didn't go to Arkansas, but you have replaced a guy in Bell with a very, very good football player in Trey Knox. 6'5", about 245 pounds, is a guy that is, again, in talking with people, I would compare more to a Jared Cook with his size. Is going to be able to split out more. He was recruited to Arkansas by Justin Stepp, so there is a relationship that was actually formerly there, not just with Dow Loggins, but Trey Knox comes in, and obviously we have a lot to learn after the bowl game about the futures of one Spencer Rattler and, say, Juice Wells and a few other guys. But whomever the quarterback is now picked up a very large target, a guy with good speed, a guy with good hands. Again, a guy that was formerly a wide receiver and has added weight. Trey Knox is an impact guy from the get-go, and that will be a guy that as we go into spring ball and then obviously get ready for that North Carolina game on September 2nd, you will expect to be a big part of the offense in 2023. Whomever the quarterback is, I think Trey Knox instantly jumps to right in there, top of the list, maybe second or third, depending on what happens with Juice Wells, in terms of guys who could very well lead this team in catches and be a big player, big playmaker for the Gamecocks. So that one was a massive pickup yesterday because of the fact that Knox is expected to be an impact guy, a guy that will come in and instantly help this team. So that was, to me, the big pickup yesterday. Now, the second biggest pickup yesterday, again, impact guy. South Carolina is losing Zach Pickens. We know that. He's already declared for the NFL draft, will not play in the bowl game. So South Carolina, they've got Tonka Hemingway. They've got Alex Huntley there in the middle. You've got TJ Sanders, who is really coming along, Nick Barrett. South Carolina, though, picks up junior college defensive lineman Elijah Davis, the number 4 junior college player in the country, the number 1 defensive tackle in the country. He chooses South Carolina over other offers from Tennessee, from Alabama, from Arkansas, from Auburn. This was a very highly coveted defensive lineman, and he's a guy that, again, should come in. He's expected to enroll early and will be a guy that gets to go through spring practice and will be expected to contribute next year. He will be expected to come in right away and compete with Hemingway, with Alex Huntley, and form a nice rotation in the interior of that defensive line. So what you've got now is really, in about the last 5 days, you got the opportunity. It sounds like Jordan Strong will be back. He's applying for that additional year of eligibility to come back and play after his season-ending injury against Arkansas. if you get him back, adding Elijah Davis to the defensive line, you hope that another year of work for Jordan Birch will continue to pay off. I know South Carolina lost Gilbert Edmond, but certainly South Carolina on the edges now and on the interior looking a little bit better with the addition of junior college defensive lineman Elijah Davis. So if you asked me yesterday, all right, what are the big ones? What were the big ones yesterday? There's two, and those again would be the addition of Trey Knox offensively, being able to come in and should be able to come in 2023 and make an instant impact and make life easier for whomever that quarterback ends up being. If it's Spencer Rattler, big weapon there. You would love to have Juice Wells and Trey Knox being able to line up, and Dow Loggins being able to dial up plays and be able to take advantage of mismatches with those two guys. And then obviously if it's not Spencer Rattler and if Juice Wells goes to the NFL, you still added a nice piece to the puzzle that Luke Doty or whomever the quarterback will be able to take advantage of. So Knox big there. That's why I think, you pick up a nice, huge 6'5" target for whomever the quarterback is. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you've got Elijah Davis coming in. He went to East Mississippi Community College. He was originally from Wagner, South Carolina, so he comes back home to be a Gamecock, and that is a big pickup there. Jimmy Lindsey and Jody Wright leading the charge there for Elijah Davis. So to me, those are the two big ones. All right, those are the ones that you look at yesterday. One's a transfer. One is, being that he's a junior college player, is considered a commitment that will count toward your ranking, your team ranking, if you want to look at it that way. Obviously, yesterday, the recommitment of Big Tree Babalade, 6'5.5", 310 pounds, the number 247 player nationally, regardless of position, the number 22 offensive tackle overall in the country. Getting him back in the fold is big. South Carolina needs to continue to upgrade the athleticism on the offensive line and getting Babalade back. Now, we had Brian Doan on yesterday from 24/7 Sports who scouted him. He said Babalade is a kid who still needs to develop, has got to get stronger, has got to get better in the run game, but you have to continue to upgrade the offensive line. And if you've paid attention to recruiting, if you follow it, you know that in this state, there's two mega offensive line prospects coming down the pipe in this upcoming class, in the next class, Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson. Both of them national prospects, all first from across the country. South Carolina in really good shape for both of those guys. So you look at what Greg Atkins, and throw in Lonnie Teasley as well, what they've been able to do with these offensive linemen. Last year, I liked that class, athleticism, the guys that need development, but Brubaker, Henry, Grayson Maines, a lot of athleticism there. This class, again, you talk about Markee Anderson, who will join us here in about 45 minutes this morning to talk about his commitment. You talk about Babalade. Travon Ball is a 4-star offensive lineman out of the state of Georgia who South Carolina's picked up. So you feel really good about what South Carolina is doing and what they're adding on the offensive line. And then, again, throw in the next class in which you're hoping to land Josiah Thompson and Cam Pringle. Blake Franks is another offensive lineman from the Greenville area that South Carolina is heavily involved with. A lot of people think he'll end up going to Clemson because of some ties there. But the Gamecocks have done a good job of kind of adding of getting more athletic, because I've talked to guys that coach the defensive line, that coach the offensive line, and they say that one thing you have to have in the SEC is athletic offensive linemen that can move, because we all know the SEC is a defensive line of scrimmage league. You've got some absolute freaks there that can blow by you, can come off the edge. You got blitzing linebackers who, again, run incredible speeds. You better have some offensive linemen who have good footwork and can move their bodies, or else you're absolutely going to get blown up. And we've seen that. We've seen that at times. South Carolina continuing to have to build there. So getting Babalade back in the boat yesterday, very, very important. Gamecocks also pick up a tight end commitment. Reed McKeska, a 6'5.5", 230-pound tight end from Cypress, Texas, commits, 3-star tight end. Originally had been committed to Clemson, then flipped his commitment from Clemson to Miami, and now flips his commitment from Miami to South Carolina. The Gamecocks, obviously, when you lose Jaheim Bell, you lose Travion Kenyon, Nate Adkins is graduating. South Carolina needs tight ends. They've got to add tight ends here to this class, because right now you're not having any next year. So you've added 2 in the transfer portal. Trey Knox, who I was talking about, Nick Elkinis, the other tight end who committed earlier this week, 6'6", 225 pounds, transfer from Florida. And now you add Reed McKeska to go along with Cameron Sandlin as well. Sandlin, a big athlete, 6'3", about 230 pounds, out of Anniston, Alabama. So South Carolina looking to add and build some depth in that tight end room. 803-404-6100. We'll get out to some of these questions on the Firehouse Subs text line. We'll continue talking about some other things. A couple of y'all asking about Marshawn Lloyd. I'll get back into that. There was some news on him yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. You're listening to Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Staying warm, yes, it is something that I value very much in my life. Being nice and warm and cozy, that's why some of my best friends are AAA Heating and Air. They make sure that my house is nice, warm, cozy. They've come out, they've done some maintenance, might even be getting a brand new heating and air unit here just to make sure I'm even warmer during the upcoming months. You want to do the same. Contact AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. That's how you can get in touch with AAA Heating and Air today to speak with them. If you're in the market, if you need a brand new heating and air unit, there's no better time than right now to contact AAA Heating and Air and see what they can do for you. They will offer you a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit, then work with you. 0% for certain buyers, but guaranteed financing for everybody. That's right. No matter your credit, you can get guaranteed financing. How about the best part? A 15-year parts and labor warranty. So after you buy that brand new unit, AAA Heating and Air, not just installing it and running off, they're there to continue making sure it works properly and that anything that happens with it, parts, labor, you got a 15-year warranty on it. Contact AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. That's AAA Heating and Air. Call them today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Treat your family to a Bullfrog hot tub from Griffin Pools and Spas. The perfect place to relax, unwind, leave the day behind. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy System. Each seat is customized to fit every body in your family, including the just-arrived Bullfrog Swim Spa. There's never been a better time to spa and save. Come into Griffin Pools today and reserve your new Bullfrog Spa. Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home. Discover more at griffinpoolsandspas.com.
Griffin Pools and Spas. We make you feel good.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
I'm Steve Weissman with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Jalen Hurts is both his name and now a statement. The Eagles quarterback is hurting with a shoulder injury and did not practice Tuesday. Hurts says there is still a chance he plays Saturday against the Cowboys. Some other quarterback injury news. Lamar Jackson missed his 7th straight practice for the Ravens, and that's not the only injury woe in Baltimore. Wideout Devin Duvernay was placed on injured reserve after hurting his foot in practice Tuesday. To help fill that void, the Ravens claimed veteran wideout Sammy Watkins off waivers. The Titans dealing with some quarterback concerns of their own. Ryan Tannehill missed practice Tuesday with an ankle injury that he suffered in Sunday's loss to the Chargers. Some better news, though, in Pittsburgh, where Kenny Pickett is expected to play Saturday after missing the Steelers' last game with a concussion. And the Jets say Zach Wilson will get his 2nd straight start Thursday night against the Jags. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
The holidays are here. Achieve gifting greatness when you give perfectly aged, tender, delicious Omaha steaks. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have curated special gift packages to take the guesswork out of gifting and make you a holiday hero. Go to omahasteaks.com and take advantage of 50% off site-wide. Plus, use code SIZZLE at checkout to get an additional $40 off your order. Send an assortment of mouthwatering favorites guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon, air-chilled boneless chicken, ultra-juicy burgers, even easy-to-prepare, ready-in-a-flash comfort meals. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, so shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart, remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence today, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit omahasteaks.com, get 50% off site-wide, plus use promo code SIZZLE at checkout to get that extra $40 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
1075 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game. What we're talking about on 1075 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
.36 on your National Signing Day Wednesday. A busy morning. Things will really start to pick up here in probably about 30 minutes. About 7 a.m., 7:10 a.m. is about when you start seeing the information start really popping up. Signing day in the past, the February signing day has always been kind of wild because you never knew some of the things that were going to happen. And there was a time that I think it was, for me, but this is talking about the February signing day, not the early signing period that we're in now. Yeah, it was like an extra Christmas day, especially for people who really get into the recruiting. You had flips, you had surprises, you had all these kind of wild things. It was always a day that what you could do is look at it and say, hey, here's the future of our program. This is it. This is the class that puts us over the top. Now, you can be obviously overly optimistic. You could be that. Yeah, there's nobody's ever lost a signing day, right? Like every coach I've ever heard in 20 years, and then I've really been covering recruiting since about 2008. So almost 15 years, 14 years as I've really covered recruiting. And, it's kind of funny. It's interesting because every coach I've ever come across and listened to the press conference says, we met our needs. Everything that we set out to do in this recruiting class, we did. We've met our needs. We've added players to the roster. You did have Lou Holtz maybe be a little bit more honest about it, saying, well, we don't know what we have. You could turn out to be a great class, could turn out to be a bad class. You had Steve Spurrier, who had really no clue who he had signed. He would just kind of, when Shane was the recruiting coordinator, breed Shane in, or whomever was the recruiting coordinator, and he'd kind of look at them and be like, man, you want to talk about the guys? Because I have no clue who we got. Like Spurrier, he'd know the big names. He'd know his quarterback who he signed. He would have no clue after that on really who else may or may not have signed for him. So every coach is going to tell you they met their needs, that they got better today, that the future is extremely bright. But you can look at it, and you can kind of break down what each and every class is and where the strengths are. For South Carolina, at this point in time, I look at it, obviously, the first thing that jumps out is the defensive line. South Carolina has been at their best when they have high-quality, big-time defensive linemen. And right now, you look at Xavier McLeod, Desmond Yumi Zulu, throw in Montague Rames, the big defensive end. That was a guy Brian Doan talked about yesterday, having seen him at the Shrine Bowl this past week. Add in with them Elijah Davis. We'll see what happens with Xavier Hardy, who's got some issues he's got to work through right now. But South Carolina has really done a good job with this class in adding high-quality defensive linemen. Now, they're going to need to be developed. That's the big thing. I look at recruiting classes, and I really learned this talking with certain members of Steve Spurrier's staff. Shane Beamer was one of them, talking with Brad Lowing back in the day. And they would always say a perfect example was a guy like, say, a Byron Gerardo or a Devin Taylor. Those were good football players, but you had great coaches that developed them. It's really hard for South Carolina to get a top 10 recruiting class. It's not impossible, mind you, but you can get high-quality football players, but the next step is development. DJ Swearinger, who obviously turned into an incredible college football player wasn't some elite prospect that the whole country was battling over. A, he had an incredible work ethic, but B, he had really good coaches that developed him. And you see guys in this class, Pup Howard, again, a very good prospect, ranked 173rd nationally, the number 14 linebacker in the country, and very good player. He's going to need linebacker coach Clayton White to develop him a little bit, to continue to get him better. Xavier McLeod, the number 186 overall player in the country, regardless of position, the number 25 defensive lineman. Again, really, really good player. You need to get Jimmy Lindsey is going to need to continue to develop them. So you get these good players in here, and South Carolina's got a class that fans should be very excited about. South Carolina's got a class that people overall should see as continuing to improve the program. But you also have to be realistic and understand that, again, South Carolina's in the SEC, and if you go by the rankings right now, Alabama's 1. Thankfully, you don't play Alabama every year, but Georgia's 2. Probably going to play them every year. LSU is 5. You got Tennessee at 9. You got Florida at 10. 5 teams out of the SEC have got top 10 recruiting classes. Texas A&M, even with all their problems, is 16. So South Carolina is, again, 7th in the league, middle of the pack. But this is where your coaches have to develop those players. It's great to get good players in your class. Now it's on development. And, one of the things that's going to be interesting, Dow Loggins, a little bit more of a true quarterbacks coach as opposed to Marcus Satterfield. If you go back and you looked at Marcus Satterfield's time coaching football, kind of bounced around many different positions. And I know Loggins was coaching tight ends out at Arkansas, but he was a true quarterbacks coach. That's what he was doing in the NFL. And that's a big part of adding him to the staff, not just the calling of plays, but having a legit, true quarterback coach there that can offer suggestions and help development. It goes the same thing. If South Carolina is to land Lenora Sellers on Friday, you want a guy who can develop quarterbacks. So development is going to be just as big for these recruiting classes as going out and signing these very good players. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Again, coming up in about 30 minutes, Markee Anderson, offensive lineman from Dorman High School. My good buddy Dustin Curtis up there coaching him this past season. And Markee Anderson, the number 1 player in the state of South Carolina, will be coming to the Gamecocks and looking to make an impact for them next year. Yesterday, there were rumors about Marshawn Lloyd. I have reached out to people on this. The first rumor that popped out yesterday is that Maryland basically said thanks, but no thanks. We're not interested. Now, again, there's a lot of speculation involved here. I have yet to gain concrete evidence on what exactly is going on with Marshawn Lloyd. And he very well, as one person told me, could still end up at Maryland. Whether he went to Maryland and was looking for an NIL package that was unobtainable, that Maryland wasn't willing to work with him on, I'm not real sure. Nobody seems to know. But the rumor is that Maryland has told Marshawn Lloyd, we're not going to pursue you. We really like our young running backs. We're going to stick with them. Thank you, but no thank you. Another rumor popping out yesterday afternoon that Lloyd may be interested in coming back to South Carolina. I've yet to find anybody that will confirm that. Obviously, to explain the transfer portal again, a player can enter the transfer portal, and if he or she, in other sports, wants to come back, and that coach and that team is comfortable having them back, it can happen. Malik Hornsby, who is back in the transfer portal last year, entered the transfer portal at Arkansas and ended up going back to the Razorbacks this season and has once again entered the transfer portal this offseason. Not very happy with Kendall Briles. But you've got a situation where, yes, if Marshawn Lloyd wanted to come back, and Shane Beamer and the rest of the staff and some of the players were willing to have him back, and they didn't feel like he would be an issue in the locker room, I don't know what kind of terms. I have a feeling, reading between the lines on the press conference from Shane Beamer, where that went when Beamer says he and Marshawn's mother and Marshawn had a conversation on that Monday when Beamer was up in D.C. recruiting. But, what is the chemistry right now? If Marshawn Lloyd wanted to come back, what is the chemistry with him and the football team? That would be the question. Do they feel comfortable having him back? Obviously, he is a good football player. He is a good football player. Let's be clear about that. Having him on your team is not a bad thing as long as there's not hurt feelings, bad egos, all those little situations. So, but right now, in my opinion, just based on conversations I had with people yesterday, I did not anticipate Marshawn Lloyd returning to South Carolina, but I've been wrong before, and guess what? It'll probably happen again, and why not have it happen one more time before we wrap up 2022? 803-404-6100, how you can join us. Let me tell you about my good friends at Zero Res. Right now, Christmas season is upon us. It's time for you to make sure your house is looking nice and spiffy for all the family that's coming over, or maybe for that big bowl watch party. That's right. You're going to get plenty of those games coming up next week. You want to make sure the house looks good. Zero Res, with their patented ZR water technology, is ready to take care of you and your family. Give them a phone call today, 803-262-4020. You can schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Take advantage of their sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. So don't wait any longer. 803-262-4020, or schedule with ease online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Again, 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you get a hallway cleaned for free. So again, schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com, or you can make the phone call, 803-262-4020. Either way, that Zero Res is the company you need to contact. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards, is the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Signing day. It is a fantastic day, and aside from some coffee, I am chipper and happy and excited for the day, all because of a great night of sleep. With Sleep Number, that is precisely what I get. Put that Sleep Number setting on 45, and I'll wake up rested, refreshed. Oh boy, am I ready to go, more so today. But Sleep Number helped me get ready because of a great night of sleep. And you can do the same right now. It is the weekend special running all the way through tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow, December 22nd. You can get a great deal. You can save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen. Now, only $1,999. But again, that deal ends tomorrow, December 22nd, only at a Sleep Number store. 2 to choose from, one in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. People always ask, why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? The answer is simple, because to be your best every day, you need proven quality sleep each and every night. So don't wait around. Don't miss Sleep Number's weekend special. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen, now only $1,999. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Good morning. Take your time when you're hitting the road this morning. So far, everything looks clear in Lexington. On Busby Road, there's an animal on the roadway. Everything else looks clear in the Midlands. Keep it here as we keep you updated on your traffic, and I'm Trey Nicholson.
This basketball season and every basketball season, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Find your tickets online at GamecocksOnline.com.
Since 1964, Gateway Supply has been the Midlands leader in plumbing and HVAC supply, and now, of course, they are statewide with more than 15 locations all across South Carolina. Their showrooms are filled with bath and kitchen fixtures from classic to modern styles. Now, tap and touchless faucets. You can even talk to your kitchen sink. See them at Hamrick Street near the Fairgrounds in Williams-Brice, or Highway 6 and Whiteford Way in Lexington. Design services, expert advice for customers and contractors alike. Visit them online at gatewaysupply.net.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000 square foot facility is complete with a massive two-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai on the corner of Faro and Killian Road, where price sells cars.
Here's retired meteorologist Jim Gandy. I've known the Hood team for 3 decades. With all properties, there's always some problem, and they've always been able to deal with the property so it could be sold. And they've always been able to give us a fair assessment of what our property is worth and what the property is that we're buying is worth.
I'm Danny Hood.
And I'm Karen Hood.
And I'm William DiMaggio.
We're
the Hood team at Coldwell Banker Realty. Give us a call.
At 803-730-2512.
Or online at thehoodteam.com.
The cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning want to make sure your carpets stay clean this holiday season. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 plus. When you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you can get a hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Treat your family to a Bullfrog hot tub from Griffin Pools and Spas. The perfect place to relax, unwind, leave the day behind. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy System. Each seat is customized to fit every body in your family, including the just-arrived Bullfrog Swim Spa. There's never been a better time to spa and save. Come into Griffin Pools today and reserve your new Bullfrog Spa. Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home. Discover more at GriffinPoolsandSpas.com.
Griffin Pools and Spas. We make you feel good.
This update is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air, home of the $1,500 buyback. AAA is now offering a free ductwork check to make sure your lines are sealed tight and your duct system is performing its best. Call today to get a new unit tomorrow. 803-677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
6:52 on it's chilly still out there. It's going to be cold. I think the next few days are going to be quite cold, but you know what? It's nice and warm. That's right. I've gotten the studio fixed here. It took a lot of whining and complaining, but we are off and running with a nice warm studio. So thank you to all the great workers around here at Cumulus who endured my whining about being in a very cold studio. So it feels great in here. And it will feel great later today. Shane Beamer will meet with the media at 3 o'clock today to discuss what he had. At that point, for those of you if you listen to Shane today and he doesn't mention somebody, I was a little surprised to see that he was meeting at 3. Normally it's been 4 in the past. They should be well aware at that point of, or everybody's and you got to, by the way, today, you got to make sure you say it correctly. It's NLI today, not NIL. We're really confusing the everything with college football here, but it's a different day for that. But the bottom line is Shane Beamer cannot talk about a prospect if they do not have their letter in. Now by 3 o'clock that should happen. I'm actually just glancing because I've got a feeling within about the next 20 minutes, typically we will see the first NLI come in this morning, and that will make it official for somebody. I'll try and get the word from Markee Anderson here when we catch up with him in about 20 minutes when they are expected to send over his national letter of intent, NLI. Again, it's not NIL. We'll confuse everybody with that. But if Shane Beamer does not have that in, if it's not been sent to South Carolina by 3 o'clock, Coach Beamer cannot talk about that player during the press conference. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just might take a few days. And also remember, we're calling it early signing day because today's the fun, exciting day, but it is actually an early signing period. Players have today, tomorrow, and Friday to sign their national letter of intent. So just because somebody does not sign today, say, for example, Lenora Sellers, it doesn't mean that they're not committed or they're not going to ink up with the Gamecocks or the Tigers or whomever else. They just have until Friday to do that. For example, according to Hale McGranahan of the BigSpur.com, one of the guys that I mentioned, defensive lineman Xavier Hardy, will not sign today. He told the BigSpur.com late last night that he is waiting on the NCAA clearinghouse before signing his paperwork. So hopefully for him, he hears from them by Friday. If not, he'll be waiting until the February signing period to sign then. So just a few things to keep an eye on today as we roll through. Again, one other thing just to remember, there is no cap on the number of players you can sign anymore. At one point it was 25. That's no longer the case. The big number to keep an eye on is your overall scholarship limit, which is 85. You have to be at or below that by the beginning of August, and that's the number you're paying attention to. So South Carolina, again, I've said it, you may see Colorado sign 40, 50 players and then take another 20 out of the transfer portal. Deion Sanders may go out there and completely change that roster. As long as he's got no more than 85 scholarship players come August, he's perfectly fine. So just a few things to keep an eye on. We will catch up with Markee Anderson, South Carolina offensive line commitment, coming up at 7:15. J.C. Shurburtt after that. A lot to get to. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
It's that most wonderful time of the year again, and if you need a special present for that special someone, count on it. Nothing conveys affection like a gift of fine jewelry. Hi, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers with 3 reasons you just got to come see us this year to make it a Christmas to remember. First, we have the largest selection of jewelry in the Midlands, so if you're looking for something special, odds are you'll find it here. Second, we have the best prices anywhere, and that's not just in mined diamond jewelry. We also have over $1 million in lab-grown diamonds and lab-grown diamond jewelry with prices you just won't find anywhere else. And third, if you want to take advantage of financing, we have a variety of interest-free financing offers with no down payment required. So why stress over what to get this Christmas? Come see us at Traditions and get a better piece of jewelry at a better price. Guaranteed. Merry Christmas from Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington on Sunset and at Sandhills across from the fountain. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. Are you a top HVAC technician? Are you ready to stop working and start a career? You can earn up to $100,000 a year with AAA Heating and Air. Quality candidates will have at least 2 years experience and a good driving record. You give them a phone call, 803-677-1500, or applicants can apply in person at the Lexington office. That's with AAA Heating and Air.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Guys, get the perfect present at Rejuvenation's Medical Spa this Christmas. Magic Money. Call and ask one of the certified consultants to walk you through the best present under the tree. 781-1201.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
Have the fall leaves clogged your gutters? Look for the guys in the powdered blue trucks. Let the guttermen clean them out. The pros at the Gutterman can keep you out of the gutter. Call 803-791-7147 or thegutterman.com.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this December with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 200 different wines and spirits, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Love what you find at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game. Sponsored by the power of Love Chevrolet. Things are good and only getting better. Love has more new Chevys on the lot than any other dealer in the Midlands. And we're ordering new vehicles every day. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza.
Dad, I'd like to thank you for everything you did. With that being said, I'm committed to the University of South Carolina.
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. The early game with Bill Gunter.
I will never forget asking Will Muschamp what he does for entertainment. He's like, we don't vacation around here. I was like, all right, this interview is going well. So anyway, earlier I was talking about how good I think Heath is at interviewing people and getting answers. And so I was making that joke, and I thought on the fly, first thing that popped into my mind was tickling people.
And Jen Jensen.
I just really don't even know where to go with that. That's the first thing that came to mind, not about having intuitive questions, being insightful, and having done research.
He's a big teddy bear at the end of the day. Big teddy bear.
On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Rolling along on it is the early signing period, but I'm labeling it as signing day. It's kind of like how I typically call SEC Media Day, SEC Media Days. I am there on that particular day, so I just say SEC Media Day. But it is a 3-day extravaganza as we get you started bright and early, trying to keep an eye out on the old Twitter machine to see if the Gamecock football account puts out their first signee, as you will, so to speak, the first person to send in that national letter of intent that they will be a Gamecock. So I'm trying to keep a close eye on that. Coming up here in about 13 minutes, we will be joined by Markee Anderson, the top-rated commitment for Shane Beamer and for Greg Atkins and Lonnie Teasley. Anderson from Dorman High School in the upstate. Had the ceremony, did it uniquely. I like it. I had not seen anybody do the pancake thing, but he picked a bottle of syrup. We'll ask him about that, find out how delicious those pancakes were. And Markee Anderson also set to be an early enrollee. So that will be a big part of him coming in early, getting into that strength and conditioning program in January. And look, South Carolina is going to lose some offensive linemen. And you get a kid like this in early. Anderson, again, considered the number 128 player overall in the class, regardless of position. He is the number 6 interior offensive lineman in the country. He was the number 2 player in the state of South Carolina. And again, he is the top-rated prospect for the Gamecocks in this particular class. A couple of you are asking, Danny saying on our live stream, said, I thought McLeod signed his intent yesterday. I guess technically they could have signed it whenever. I don't remember when exactly schools are able to send them out. I guess technically he could have signed it. You can't send them in. Today is the first day that you can send them in and that they can be received. So I guess, yes, technically. I think actually Anderson might have actually already had a signing ceremony, and his is already sent in as well. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk to him and just get a little bit of information. But, yeah, it is Markee Anderson will be joining us here in just a few minutes, and we'll catch up with him on his recruitment, his commitment, everything that went along with that. We even talked to him. I think his father was doing the videos of some of the recruiting, and it was pretty cool to kind of see some of the behind the scenes stuff. So South Carolina yesterday, though, big day, end up picking up several big commitments, both from high school prospects, from a junior college prospect, and through the transfer portal. Again, the two big ones to me yesterday, I mentioned this in hour number 1, was the commitment of Trey Knox, the Arkansas transfer. He is 6'5", about 240, 250 pounds, just 26 catches on the season for Arkansas. But Arkansas's offense not really tight end friendly, which was odd that they had so many tight end commitments out there under Dow Loggins. Actually speaks volumes to what he was able to do on the recruiting trail. But Trey Knox is a guy that, again, it compares, I think, favorably to former Gamecock tight end Jared Cook, and that he's not going to be a guy you really line up on the edge and use as a blocker. He's a guy that you're going to split out a little bit and allow him to get into one-on-one matchups. And that's obviously what we're all looking for with Loggins here is how do you take advantage? How does Dow Loggins get guys into mismatches and take advantage of his best players on the field? Something that was, we'll call it quite the struggle for about the first 10 games. That whatever clicked, whatever happened, the last 2 games, not so much the struggle, and South Carolina's offense exploded. So we will continue to watch what Dow Loggins does, but he's got a nice piece to the puzzle here in Trey Knox. That is a very nice replacement, a very good replacement for the loss of Jaheim Bell. The Gamecocks also pick up junior college defensive lineman Elijah Davis yesterday, the number 1 junior college defensive lineman in the country, originally from Wagner, South Carolina. He's been at East Mississippi Community College. He's the number 4 overall junior college player in the country. He is a young man, again, that will be expected to come in and compete with Tonka Hemingway, with Alex Huntley, with TJ Sanders, with Nick Barrett on the interior. Throw Xavier McLeod in there. We did just mention McLeod. McLeod, again, is a guy that is an early enrollee, will come in January, and that's great. You get him in that strength and conditioning program. You get him to go through spring practice. So to me, Elijah Davis was big because now you're building some depth back on that interior defensive line, and South Carolina has to get better on the interior there. So the 2 big commitments yesterday, in my opinion, one through the transfer portal and Trey Knox, the other there in Elijah Davis, who checks in at 6'4", 280 pounds. I've had a couple people tell me he's probably bigger than that, closer to 300. So certainly some big pickups there. And the fact that both of those guys expected to be in early and ready to go. The Gamecocks also adding back to the mix yesterday, Big Tree Babalade. We're going to have to really find out at some point how to actually pronounce his first name. I feel like Wes Mitchell is very good at that. Maybe J.C. Shurburtt can help us with that a little bit, but we'll just stick with Big Tree Babalade. 6'5.5", 310 pounds, the number 247 player overall, regardless of position, the number 22 offensive tackle in the country. He had decommitted a week ago after a long commitment to South Carolina. He recommits last night. He's from DeMatha Catholic there in Hyattsville, Maryland, and another guy that South Carolina will be looking for that letter of intent this morning to make sure he is indeed on board. So that was another one. Reed McKeska, a tight end yesterday, originally committing to Clemson, then switching his commitment from Clemson to Miami, and yesterday he switches it from Miami to South Carolina. The Gamecocks looking to add more tight ends, build that room back up. The Gamecocks already have a commitment from Connor Cox, another 6'5.5", 220-pound tight end from the Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida. So the Gamecocks now with 3, counting Cameron Sandelin, who they're expecting to play at the tight end position, 3 high school tight end commitments. They have 2 transfer commitments, Trey Knox and Nick Elkinis, a transfer 6'6", 220. I think that tight end room is tall, by the way. 6'6", 220 there for him. So 5 tight end commitments. And again, you go, man, that's a lot. Well, once Nate Atkins plays his final game against Notre Dame there, the Gamecocks are without tight ends completely. I think there's 2 walk-ons in there. So restocking that tight end room, both through the transfer portal and through recruiting, kind of important for the Gamecocks. Dow Loggins does want to use the tight end in his offense, and making sure that those tight ends there are not just bodies, but serviceable players who can go out and make plays is important. One other just recruiting note to throw out. Jason Brown, former Gamecock commitment yesterday, announcing a commitment to Stony Brook. So good luck to him. I followed him. Look, you can make the case. I'll just if not for Jason Brown, I don't know where this program necessarily is. The way he came in at the end of last year, the end of 2021, and performed in victories over Florida and Auburn, I think South Carolina fans should always be very appreciative of what Jason Brown did, and good to see him. Hopefully he can finish his career on a high note. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning if you want to be a part of the program. Coming up next, Markee Anderson will join us. We'll catch up with him, get his thoughts on recruiting, on coming to join the Gamecocks, and we'll find out all about pancakes as well. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Despite a second straight shellacking, Tampa Bay holds a one-game lead over Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta. Team Brady should win out their final 3 games, given the quarterbacks Arizona, Carolina, and Atlanta will throw at them, while not much better than their divisional rivals. The Bucs had better run the table, or it may be time to fire Todd Bowles. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45 non-smoker can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50 non-smoker can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. This winter, there are new COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or original booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Good morning. Make that drive easy. So far on I-77, 17 southbound, we have an object in the roadway. Also on I-20, 65 westbound, we have a collision right there. No injuries to report. That's a look at your traffic, and I'm Trey Nicholson.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Gift yourself a new career this holiday season. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
Whatever your current t-shirt budget is, double it and trust Palmetto's Shirt Company to deliver your shirts. T-shirts build identity. Identity builds better teams, and better teams build better businesses. You can put Palmetto Shirt Company's 20-plus years of printing experience to work for you and your team. We help you build a team identity with our designs, our shirt selections, and keep it within your budget. We'll make it easy for you. Just find us online at palmettoshirtco.com and build your team's identity today. Palmetto Shirt Company, South Carolina's brand.
Here's to Prilosec OTC. Without Prilosec, I wouldn't be able to enjoy all this yummy holiday food. Speaking of, whoever made that apple pie, delicious. I just take one pill each morning and zero heartburn all day. So cheers to Prilosec OTC. Ooh, are those jalapeno poppers?
Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid that can cause heartburn, so you can enjoy the holidays. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000 square foot facility is complete with a massive 2-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai on the corner of Faro and Killian Road, where price sells cars.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full-service dine-in buffet with barbecue ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road is open from 11 to 2 on Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you soon.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
You're either growing or you're dying. I think it would be hard to recreate the kind of growth that WCW experienced between 95 and 98. This audience should be growing. The characters should be coming more, and they're not. Everybody's gradually losing audience. People will say, well, but AEW is 15% ahead of where they were last year. But there's variables there. Let's see where we're at a year from now.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
He is the top-rated recruit in the South Carolina 2023 recruiting class. And joining me now to talk about recruiting and pancakes, want to know more about pancakes, is the one and only Markee Anderson, 6'4", 320-pound interior offensive lineman from Dorman High School, where, oh boy, Markee, this year did you get the experience of a lifetime to get to be coached by the one and only Dustin Curtis, who I got to grow up with. And I'll tell you a story. He broke several items around my house when he would come over, just throwing the football around. That's why he was a fullback that never got the football in his days. He had butterfingers.
Yes, sir. Surely wasn't odd to get coached by him this year.
He's a great guy, and glad we could get you on this morning. Congratulations. Real quick, some people are asking about this. I know they've not officially announced you yet as being a signee. Have you already signed your paperwork, or y'all just waiting to fax it in?
I have not yet filed my paperwork yet.
Okay, so you'll do that later today, I guess, and you'll copy it or scan it in and send it in. Have you thought about that moment where you put pen to paper, where you officially become a part of the University of South Carolina? Is that moment you've thought about, or did you think about the commitment more than the signing of the actual paperwork?
I've been thinking about the signing day just as much as the commitment. I've been thinking it's going to be a relief for me to finally be able to be part of South Carolina, officially part of South Carolina, and not just saying I am. And I just can't wait for that moment.
Let's go back to your commitment ceremony on July 31st. Whose idea was the pancakes? You did. I used to cover recruiting. I saw a lot of different ways to announce your school. I know your father owns the food truck, and I believe he is the chef of the family, if I've read and understood correctly, and a fantastic one at that. Whose idea was the pancakes?
It was my dad's idea for the pancakes.
Now, did he fix them?
No, sir. My mom did.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. It's good to hear that mom got involved on that. Now, what kind of pancake were they? Just plain? Do you like chocolate chip pancakes? Do you like blueberry? What was is there things you put in them, or was it just syrup?
Oh, it was just regular pancakes. But I do love me some chocolate chip pancakes.
And that's mom's specialty, is the chocolate chip pancakes?
Yes, sir.
He's Markee Anderson joining us this morning. Let's go back. You obviously a very coveted prospect. You had offers from across the country. You got to take a lot of great official visits. Tell everybody who's never been through that kind of experience, in your words, what was the recruiting process like? Was it stressful? Was it enjoyable? Did you like meeting people? Did you like the travel? Talk us through a little bit about the recruiting process the last few years for you.
The recruiting process can most definitely be stressful at times, with just phone calls coming in every direction, any time of the day. And then just the stress of just being like the deadline you have to pick a college. There's a lot of good things coming out of it. Like, it was fun meeting people, going to new places, seeing new things. Like, it was just because of recruiting, I was just able to expand my horizons and go places I never would have been before.
Obviously, you, as I just said, you committed on July 31st. Was there a time that it got annoying? You mentioned the phone calls. I think people sometimes don't understand what guys like you have to go through because you're getting so many phone calls from not just coaches, but back in the day when I used to have to call players like you and get interviews. Was there a point where it just got a little overwhelming or annoying to you?
Most definitely have, but in the end, I think that made me a better person. All the phone calls and all the interviews I had to take.
Now, obviously, we have talked about it. You're owned because you're coming to the University of South Carolina. Of course, we're the home of the Gamecocks here on this particular radio station. But what was it? Shane Beamer, Greg Adkins, Lonnie Teasley. What was it that started to really convince you that this is where you wanted to spend the next 3 to 4 years of your life and play under Shane Beamer? What were some of the things that were either said to you or that you saw that you felt comfortable with and about why you wanted to come to South Carolina?
I would say the coaches and the atmosphere of it all. Me coming down there multiple games, me and the coaches, they always been truly genuine to me. And then during the games, you just got the great atmosphere that surrounds South Carolina. And I just loved it. And I just bought into it. And I just wanted to commit there. And I knew that was the place for me.
I had Grayson Pup Howard on last week and was talking to him about the experiences as you've watched the last few years, the players run out to 2001 and you see the towels and sandstorm and all that. Have you given thought to what that's going to be like for you, or is that a little bit too far away? Have you given thought to you coming out of the tunnel to that kind of atmosphere next year?
Yes, sir. I most definitely have.
And explain that a little bit. Like, it is that, I mean, when you've watched them, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you came to the Tennessee game for that environment, but if you did, talk a little bit about seeing that night and everything that took place.
So, sir, I did not go to the Tennessee game. However, I've been to a lot of more games. It's the tunnel and all that coming out with the sandstorm. It's always a great feeling. And I know when it's my time to run out the tunnel and see the sandstorm, I know it's going to be like a dream.
Let's ask you this. Obviously, growing up, very good football player. What was the moment in your life where you realized, I'm pretty good at this sport? I've got a chance to be pretty good if I put in the work. Was there a moment, whether it was in Little League or when you first got to Dorman and you were playing maybe in middle school or as a JV player? What was the moment? I don't know if you hit somebody, you threw a block, maybe you were younger and you played running back. Was there a moment in your life where you said, I'm not bad at this game. I can be pretty good?
I actually started football in the 7th grade, so I wasn't too sure how things were going to end out. But I think the moment I realized I was actually good at the game was probably my 10th grade year. I had a pretty good season that year, and I just kept on getting calls from colleges and stuff like that after the Gaffney game, my 10th grade year, and I just knew I could actually make it doing this sport. And I bought in. And now I'm here.
Now you're going to be an early enrollee. If you thought, I asked Grayson about this last Monday. Is it sunk in that you're done with high school yet?
Yes, sir. It has.
And how do you feel about it? I felt like that was almost a disappointing. Yeah, I'm done now. I got to go to college. Like, what was that like? I guess last week when you had your final day.
Honestly, it wasn't nothing bad. Anything. I'm kind of a relief now. Got out of high school.
What is it that you feel as you come and you enroll here in the next few weeks to contribute in 2023? What do you feel are the things you've got to work on the most here over the next 9 months to get yourself ready for fall camp and get yourself ready for that North Carolina game on September 2nd?
I think the biggest thing I need to work on is just develop my body in general, and then just getting to know the plays and how things work, how the system works. And I think early enrolling is the best option for me, so I can be caught up by the time the rest of my class come in.
Talk about your relationship a little bit with Greg Atkins and Lonnie Teasley. Both of them have at different times, I know, been a part of your recruitment. I know that obviously Coach Atkins is around the program, and then Coach Teasley's had to step in a little bit. But your relationship, your friendship with both of them, and what it was that maybe they said to you about developing you that convinced you that South Carolina should be home.
They have stayed in contact with me a lot, and I respect that a lot for them, for one. But they still most likely might be playing guard while I'm at this college. They see me as a true SEC guard, and guard is the spot I want to be at, and they bought in with it. And I just know South Carolina will develop me the right way.
Again, he's Markee Anderson joining us this morning. Did you ever look at the websites? Do you ever pay attention to your ranking and what they had you 3, 4, 5 stars? Do you ever look at that?
To be honest, not really.
That's the right way to do it. That's the right way. I was going to ask you, the reason I bring that up is I don't know for you if you feel pressure because you are the highest rated player in this class. You're obviously an in-state guy. You were a massive recruiting win for South Carolina. How does that make, when you hear someone like me say that you're the highest rated player, how does that make you feel? Or does it push you and you feel like you've got to live up to that? What does that exactly make you feel like?
I don't really feel anything for that. I'm not really a big recruiting guy. Well, I'm too big on like the whole idea of recruiting. So I really don't feel no pressure towards having to go to a certain spot just because of my ranking.
Again, Markee Anderson joining us just a few more minutes here this morning. I'm assuming the family, y'all are ready for Christmas. This is it. You're kind of your final time. Thankfully, they're not too far away from you. Have you gotten all the Christmas shopping out of the way? Have you got mom, dad, the rest of the family? Have you been able to go out and get their presents?
No, sir, not yet.
Oh, you're going to be a last second kind of guy then, huh?
Yes, sir.
What is number one on Markee Anderson's wish list for Christmas? What is the best, what are the presents you want the most here this Christmas?
Thing I want the most, possibly them shoes. The first thing in my list.
There you go. Before just a few more minutes before I let you go here, appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Real quick, your good buddy, your offensive line mate up there, he will sign with North Carolina, DJ Geth, today. If you talk to you, that is the opening opponent for South Carolina next year. Has there been a little bit of friendly back and forth between the two of y'all, just kind of cutting up over the last few months?
Yes, sir. They most definitely have. We were very competitive towards each other, and when we found out we'd be playing each other's first game, it was a lot of friendly tension, and we make a lot of jokes about things, and we know it's gonna be a good game in the future.
You were at the Shrine Bowl last week, getting to be around other players from the state of South Carolina. Obviously, Lenore Sellers is a guy that South Carolina fans are keeping an eye on here later this week. Give us a little bit of background. What is the buzz amongst high school players about the University of South Carolina right now? If you were talking to guys up there, I'm not asking you what Lenoris is doing, but I don't know if you talked to him at all about, hey, come join me, or, you should come to South Carolina. But being there at the hotel or being around some of the players, what was the buzz, if any, on South Carolina from high school prospects right now?
We all know it's a building school. They did really good this year. And the selling pitch to them was, if we all go down here together, I know we could make this a top 5, top 3 program. And I think we can win the national championship if we all buy in together.
Markee, we appreciate you taking time this morning to join us. Look forward to seeing you. Try and keep Coach Curtis in check up there for a few more. Can you do a Coach Curtis impression? Do you have a Dustin Curtis impression? You don't play for him. You can't make you run steps anymore.
Yeah, that's the Curtis. Bad things will happen, guys.
There you go. There you go. He's a good friend, a good guy, man. Look forward to seeing you. Good luck today. Real quick, you don't know what time you're going to sign. Is that just whenever you head over? I don't know if you do it from your house or your school, but you don't know what time you may be signing and sending that in, huh?
No, sir.
Gotcha, buddy. Well, appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Look forward to watching you as a Gamecock. Take care of yourself. Hope you and the family have a great Christmas.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. Markee Anderson, the Gamecocks' highest-rated recruit, and certainly was a big win. South Carolina has to continue to get better on the offensive line. Markee Anderson will be a big part of that. 803-404-6100. You are listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Here's to Prilosec OTC. Without Prilosec, I wouldn't be able to enjoy all this yummy holiday food. Speaking of whoever made that apple pie, delicious. I just take one pill each morning and zero heartburn all day. So cheers to Prilosec OTC. Ooh, are those jalapeno poppers?
Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid that can cause heartburn, so you can enjoy the holidays. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
You've waited all year. Now it's here. The Big Finish sales event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Keep your cash for Christmas shopping and buy a new Chrysler or Jeep with zip, zero, nothing down, and zero payments for the next 3 months. And exclusive of that offer, lease a 2022 Jeep Compass for just $299 per month. And get this, Galliana Chrysler Jeep has 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokees starting at $43,000. Plus, you can still custom order the exact Jeep you want for just $1 down and $1,000 below MSRP. Don't forget, Galliana Chrysler Jeep will take any trade in any condition. Rusted, busted, can't be trusted, all trade-ins are welcome. So if you're interested in buying a new Chrysler or Jeep with zip, zero, nothing down, and zero payments for the next 3 months. Gotta go to Galliana. Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Sioux Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Grand Cherokee stock number 37031. Compass stock number 29130. 39-month lease. $34.95 to signing. No security deposit. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't apply. Expires month end.
This time of the year, everyone's excited for the holiday spirit. But what about all the basketball? When you throw down on the NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pre-game money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for an even bigger payout with DraftKings same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings app. Use code Patrick. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code Patrick. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders. They make their subs differently because their subs can make a difference every day. That's why they're bringing back their daily medium sub special for just $7.99. Enjoy a different handcrafted medium sub at a special price every single day of the week. Like today's Wednesday special, the New York Steamer sub for just $7.99. Get it for a limited time only at Firehouse Subs and order now with the Rapid Rescue at firehousesubs.com.
Do you know a special woman who deserves nothing but the best for the holidays? This Christmas, spoil her with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Naturally nude pajamas, exclusively at Pajamagram, are smooth to the touch, light as air, truly seductive. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75 nightie. Definitely an effortless way to let her know how much you care. Now you can give her 2 sensuous gifts that she'll love to relax in. But hurry. Year after year, naturally nude pajamas sell out. So here's what you need to do. Head to pajamagram.com or text the word gift to 41234. That's gift to 41234. Order today, ships tomorrow.
1075 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game. What we're talking about on 1075 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
$7:35 on a Wednesday morning, National Signing Day, or the early signing period. We are off and running. Still kind of waiting. I'm trying to keep an eye on the South Carolina Gamecock football official Twitter page to see when they announce the first official national letter of intent that has come in. And as I tweet, let's see here. I think this is what they are posting real quick. We'll get J.C. Shurburtt joining us as well, I believe. J.C., welcome in real quick. Do you are you keeping up? I know you're trying to keep up with this as well. I'm trying to figure out if South Carolina is posting that the national letters of intent are in or not. Do you know if they've received a couple? It looks like I'm seeing a bunch of tweets, but I'm not sure if these are just welcoming players or if the NLIs are in yet.
Nah, I haven't seen anything. I think Tony or Whittle's handling that for the site, but I haven't been on Twitter much this morning. I've kind of been up for a while doing some analysis for video and for the show and for stuff like that. So I haven't seen anything come through, but normally they'll release it in bunches, and sometimes that strategy changes from year to year with the official social media channels. So we'll see sort of what happens.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. There is some tweets out there where they've welcomed Grayson Howard. They've got a nice little video of him. They've welcomed Cameron Upshaw, a video of him. Xavier McLeod. Yep, actually it says signed. So, all right. So it does look like several of the Gamecock letter of intents are in here this morning. Grayson Howard appears to have been the first. Cameron Upshaw, a safety out of Florida. Xavier McLeod is in. Dontavius Braswell, we probably should talk about him, giving some situations at running back. Judge Collier out of the upstate is in as well. Kelton Henderson, wide receiver. Trayvon Ball also in. So a couple is rolling in here as we get up and going. Jason, let's go back and visit what happened yesterday. I've talked a little bit about it. Obviously a very good day, but to me, instant impact guys, and you landed 2 of them yesterday. One of them, Trey Knox, transfer out of Arkansas. Elijah Davis, the junior college defensive lineman. I've kind of given my reasons why I think that those are massive pickups instantly. Knox being able to come in and help next year, and Davis being able to provide depth and compete for a starting job. Both will be on campus in January. Give us your take on how those 2 guys impact South Carolina in 2023.
Yeah, look, I think, Elijah Davis is the number 1 junior college defensive tackle in the country. He had offers, and how Alabama will offer somebody, then they'll fill up or whatever. But that means somebody on Nick Saban's staff, Nick Saban himself, said that guy's good enough to play here and help us, because they wouldn't go on a JUCO if it wasn't a guy that could help. Tennessee, of course, was the other team there. When he came out of Wagner Sally, he was about a 265-pound end, good enough to come play right away. It was just grade sidetracked him, and then he grew into a tackle. So, I think South Carolina would have been, had he elected to go elsewhere, I don't know that the program has to shut down or D-tackle is a problem, because, Tarka Hemingway is awfully good. Boogie Huntley is awfully good. TJ Sanders and Nick Barrett are really coming along as younger guys. They had 4 guys they redshirted this year. They got McLeod coming in, so I think they would have been okay, but what this does is this just kind of gives you a guy that can step right in and play that bigger defensive tackle role that Zach Pickens played last year and eat space and make plays. And boy, Elijah Davis is really, really good. Trey Knox, I think when you look at the tight end situation, obviously that's a godsend because, before the Arkansas game this past year, Bill, I probably even mentioned it on the air with you, how just impressed I was with Knox. I was like, he is a freak. Now, he didn't hurt the Gamecocks that bad. He hurt Cincinnati pretty bad. He kind of had an up and down in the year, kind of similarly to how their passing game went. He's not going to be a guy that you line up all over the place like Jaheim Bell, but he's more of a pure tight end, if that makes any sense, even though he was a receiver at some point. Really good ball skills, big enough to block, plays with an edge. You got a guy with SEC starting experience coming in at a position where you don't have anybody returning, which is kind of weird, but I think that's a godsend. And of course, Justin Stepp and Dowell Loggins both have existing relationships with him. I remember when he came out Murfreesboro, Tennessee as a receiver, South Carolina tried to recruit him a little bit, but Knox was absolutely huge for that tight end room. And Davis is going to be a big monster that can add into what should be a pretty deep defensive tackle group next year too.
Let's get into that a little bit about the defensive tackle group in particular, the defensive line. We'll see what happens with Xavier Hardy. But, JC, I've said probably what I would probably, if you're looking at one group that South Carolina really upgraded the most, the defensive line in this class. And you and I have had many a discussion about it. Ryan Bartow, a friend of ours, is labeled the Carolinas as D-line heaven. South Carolina does a very good job with this class. They even go outside of D-line heaven to get Desmond Yumi-Zulu. But Xavier McLeod is a guy you mentioned. Obviously, you look at guys like Montague Rames. We just talked about Elijah Davis. That, to me, is where Shane Beamer, Jimmy Lindsey, the staff really hit a home run here, is continuing to upgrade that defensive line.
Yeah, and you have to have it in the SEC. I mean, everybody's got a pretty good defensive line, and I think if you're South Carolina, you're sort of uniquely situated to where you can have an elite defensive line. A lot. They need more edge players. I think Jordan Strong coming back, if he gets that extra year, which they're handing those out like Halloween candy at the NCAA now, so he should. I think that'll be big. If Birch comes back, that's another one. Terrell Dawkins needs to get healthy. But you really need some more guys. I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit the portal for an edge if they can find him. Otherwise, Umia Zulu and Montague Rames are both early enrollees, so spring practice is going to be critical for those two. I would not project Umia Zulu to play had he not been an early enrollee, because I think he's the type of guy with a lot of upside. Got a lot better this year, but needs those reps and needs to adjust. Montague Rames, I said today when I was breaking down the class, I was like, it's kind of unprecedented to call a four-star defensive end under the radar, but not a lot of people talk about him. He transferred from Sumter to Manning for his senior year. He's tall, long, a naturally strong player, good strength. Kind of remind you a little of Cliff Matthews when he came out. Probably not the explosive athleticism on the basketball court that Cliff had in high school, but I think he'll remind people of that type of end. Should be a really good player, I think, and he's coming in early, so it'll be big for him too. Curious to see if those two, which one gets on the field first. My guess is probably the South Carolina kid, because it doesn't, and he's not as highly ranked as Desmond. I just think Desmond's going to take a little more time, but they do need more pass rushers. I think tackle is in really good shape though. And we'll see what the portal may bring down the road if an edge guy comes available and they're able to get him.
We'll continue talking about this. Dontavius Braswell has been in, but I'll bring that up because I will get into that a little bit with JC as to what maybe Southland fans can expect. Certainly with the departure of Marshawn Lloyd, but obviously you do have Lavassier Carroll, Rashad Amos still around, Juju McDowell. We'll talk a little bit about the running back position, and we'll get into that offensive line position. South Carolina gets the recommitment of Big Tree Babalade yesterday. We just had Markee Anderson on. We'll talk about those as well. A lot to get to this morning. He's J.C. Shurburtt. I'm Bill Gunner. Producer Ed Bird behind the board in there. We've got a lot going on. It's National Signing Day, the early signing period underway. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by eBay Motors. Looking for holiday gifts that won't be re-gifted? Head to eBay Motors. With millions of parts and accessories at the right prices, there's something for every car lover on your list. And with the money you save, you can pick up something for yourself, too. Happy holidays indeed. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Good Wednesday morning. Traffic is running real smooth. There's only 2 slowdowns so far as of right now on I-20 65 westbound. There's a collision still going on with no injuries, so traffic is backed up on I-20 again on 65 westbound. On I-77, if you're traveling that way on 17 southbound, we have an object still in the roadway. Drive with care, and that's a look at your traffic, and I'm Trey Nicholson.
Life matters. My earliest Christmas memory centers on me receiving a beautiful red and white tricycle. It was also the first time I remember feeling sorry for someone. I remember my dad receiving a gold Bulova wristwatch. He loved it, and my mom worked hard to get it, but I thought he was being mistreated. I mean, why couldn't he have something as nice as my trike? And there have been many other times I lacked the maturity to understand how special a gift is. It's generally in regard to something God puts in my life that I don't appreciate. I know what it's like to receive something from God, complain that it's not as good as the toy I wanted, only to discover what I disregarded was valuable beyond my limited understanding. I've learned what Scripture means when it says every gift from God is perfect, even if we don't know it at the time. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty. Remember, friends, life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Travis Bedson, owner of CNT Foundations.
With the world like it is today, we all just want to hold on to what we've earned. And if your home has a foundation problem, you can do just that with CNT Foundations. We now offer up to 2 years, same as cash, for qualified homeowners. So you can repair your home now and pay nothing for 2 years. It's the best of both worlds.
Call 803-805-8044. CNT Foundations, your foundation experts.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit CantyCanFixIt.com. Canty can fix it.
At the Home Depot, we have the tools for you to give the gift of a smarter home with savings on top brands, like the Google Hub, a command center for your smart devices that raises the IQ of your entire home, or the Nest Learning Thermostat that helps you conserve energy and save on your bill. And if you don't know what to get, gift cards are a smart gift no matter what they get. So this year, gift smarter with savings on tools to make your holiday magic. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000 square foot facility is complete with a massive 2-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai on the corner of Faro and Killian Road, where price sells cars.
This update is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air, home of the $1,500 buyback. AAA is now offering a free ductwork check to make sure your lines are sealed tight and your duct system is performing its best. Call today to get a new unit tomorrow. 803-677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Rolling along on your early signing. It is the early signing period. This thing will roll through Friday. Today, though, a reminder, today is my final show for the week. I will be back next Wednesday, and we will get you ready for bowl season. But getting you up and out the door this morning on early signing day, J.C. Shurburtt joining us here to break down some of what we see and what he feels is important. And J.C., real quick, one of the guys who is now in official letter of intent, Dontavius Braswell. This is interesting because right now, at least yesterday, and maybe you can address this a little bit, the people I talked to do not think that there's much smoke to Marshawn Lloyd returning. It seemed like a bunch of wild rumors yesterday. I don't know what necessarily to make of it, but Braswell, running back, is a position that he will come in and have a chance to compete early on with the departure of Lloyd and with Christian Bill Smith.
Yeah, and Bill, he's got a lot of speed and all that. I think he may need a year or two to adjust, but he got better and better during his high school career over in Washington County. Certainly, his athleticism is superior. It's very, very good. But I kind of look at the guy from Newberry as maybe an older option, a better option for next season specifically. Markee Anderson Jr. I think that guy's a little older. D2 is not high school. It's not Power 5 SEC, but it's not high school either. And I think that guy has a lot to like as well. But, running back next year is a question mark. I mean, somebody's going to have to step up, and hopefully two or three of them step up. I mean, you've got Juju McDowell coming back, but, I think one of the things Marcus Satterfield was right about was when he used to say that, Juju can't take that every down between the tackles beating because of his size. He's better suited to, do his thing when he's out there. And so we'll see if it's Amos or Carroll or Dontavius Braswell or Anderson or maybe another guy that comes in. But I think that is a question mark, and I do think if you're Dontavius Braswell, you're going to get here and work as hard as you can to try to move up the depth chart and get carries as a freshman.
Just real quick, you're with me on this. I think this is just internet, Twitter, whatever, speculation. No real legs that you know of to Marshawn Lloyd returning to this program or returning to South Carolina. Is that how you feel about it, or do you know something where at least that door is more open than I'm being led to believe?
I think the door's open from South Carolina's
right.
Standpoint. I don't think Marshawn's coming back. I think that's probably the best way to put it right now. I think this is another example of people. Shane Beamer was talking the other day. He said Twitter is not reality. Twitter is not reality. I think a lot of people may be, focused on, interpreting his tweets or whatever post and things like that. And then I guess there was talk that Maryland didn't want him, which I find hard to believe. So we'll see. So we'll see sort of what happens. I mean, I don't know that Lloyd made the best decision leaving a program that is, he's faced a lot of adversity at, but also had some great moments at, that has a chance to have a really good season next year. I don't really, that was kind of a weird decision. Some people say NIL. Well, if the NIL money's out there, go cash in. Why aren't you cashing in? That's kind of the question there. But I don't know. I think that as things stand right now, Bill, I'd be very surprised if he came back to South Carolina. So I think that's that's just kind of one of those social media things that kind of gets out of control. It's like a game of telephone, kind of like the Dan Mullen for defensive coordinator thing.
Offensive coordinator. If he was the defensive coordinator,
Offensive coordinator. My bad.
That would have been something. That would have truly been some internet shenanigans. Again, J.C. Shurburtt joining us. He'll kind of hang around for another 30 minutes here. It's normally he gets back to bed or at least starts his day at 8 a.m. Eastern time when but we're going to keep him around till 8:30 this morning. We'll talk more about it. South Carolina, a couple more of these letters of intent coming in this morning. The Gamecocks have now announced Elijah Davis. So that one is official. He is now in the boat for the Gamecocks. And the Gamecocks also announced a guy, J.C., that we'll get into this in the next hour, really in the next segment. The offensive line, Jatavius Shivers, 6'7", 290 pounds. He's a guy that's going to need a little bit of development. And we'll talk also about the development side of things when we come back in the next hour. But Shivers is a guy that I look at because of size. He had some nice offers, Michigan, Auburn, getting involved with him during the recruiting process, that I think South Carolina fans in a few years could depend on to be at maybe one of the guard spots, especially given, as I've said this earlier, Cam Pringle, Josiah Thompson in the next class. That offensive line and what South Carolina's doing, JC, we're going to get into that because I think that's another area that Gamecock fans can be pretty excited about what is taking place, even with the loss of Isaiah Jada, but getting Big Tree Babalade back in the fold yesterday. So we will catch up with JC about that and also talk about development, something that JC and I have talked a lot about. You can land a lot of these really good players, but if you don't develop them, it doesn't really mean anything. That recruiting ranking is irrelevant if you can't develop the guys that you bring in. So we will catch up with J.C. Shurburtt more when we come back in the next hour. He'll be around till about 8:30. We're carrying you through. It's the early game, the signing day spectacular here on 107.5 The Game.
Celebrating our 15th anniversary is Columbia's Sports Talk Station.
WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
You're invited to the grand opening of Palmetto Cards and Collectibles. South Carolina's largest hobby shop is now open at 404 West Main Street in Lexington. Family owned by card collectors. Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, baseball, basketball, football, Pokemon, and more. They can handle all your trading card and supply needs. They're always buying collections and would love to buy yours. Palmetto Cards is also a grading submission center for PSA and SGC. Visit palmettocards.com or stop by Palmetto Cards and Collectibles, West Main Street in Lexington.
Do you know a special woman who deserves nothing but the best for the holidays? This Christmas, spoil her with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Naturally nude pajamas, exclusively at Pajamagram, are smooth to the touch, light as air, truly seductive. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75 nightie. Definitely an effortless way to let her know how much you care. Now you can give her 2 sensuous gifts that she'll love to relax in. But hurry. Year after year, naturally nude pajamas sell out. So here's what you need to do. Head to pajamagram.com or text the word gift to 41234. That's gift to 41234. Order today.
Forgot what she asked for back in June? It's not too late to get her something she would never get herself or think to ask for. A gift certificate to Rejuvenation's Medical Spa. Voted best of in the Midlands. Call them today at 781-1201. That's 781-1201.
Breathing easier in your home with Zero's Air Duct Cleaning is the only company I trust to get my home insanely clean. Right now, when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you'll get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZerosColumbia.com.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Midstate has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, Midstate.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts in Colombia, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? Learn more at BofA.com/Colombia. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the power of Love Chevrolet. It's that time of year, and no better time to say thank you to you, our valued customer. Love Chevy, your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
After former Florida tight end Nick Elksnis went public with his commitment to South Carolina, another 3 future Gamecocks went public with theirs as well on Sunday.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game. The early game with Bill Gunter.
You can hear that right here on 107.5 The Game. That'll be with Jerry. Just going to combine both of their names, Jay and Terry.
Today, I wanted to talk about why so many of you can understand English but find it hard to speak.
And Jen Jensen.
Not yet, but that would be the good name of their show, wouldn't it?
So it's kind of like are you kind of putting in like a bromance type thing?
Well, did you hear what I did? Did you really catch? I know you're in there doing first, I decided to use the first letter of Terry's name.
Right. I heard Jerry.
Well, I said Tay, maybe Terry and Jay. And then I decided I'd mess it up one more time by going with Jerry.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You're very trendy.
Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness.
The early game.
107.5 The Game.
8:02 on a Wednesday morning. Again, it'll be the final show for me this week. So the final hour for me this week. And then I think we got some plans to not necessarily make you listen to National each and every morning, trying to cut some stuff up so that you can tune in and still get some good sports talk radio. So I'll be out on Thursday, Friday. I'll be back next Wednesday. We're going to all take Monday off.
Early signing.
And we will be back. I'll be back on Wednesday. So we got a lot there that we will get you covered as we get you ready for the Gator Bowl coming up on Friday of next week, the Gamecocks and the Fighting Irish. We'll spend a lot of time on that. But this morning, it is our signing day extravaganza. J.C. Shurburtt joining me as he does each and every week. This week, we just put him on Wednesday and keeping him a little bit longer so that we can talk about this signing class. We've talked a little bit about the defensive line, where I think South Carolina has really done a good job of enhancing their team here. Obviously, Xavier McLeod, a big part of it. Montague Rames is a guy that JC, you just said there in the last hour, I think even as a 4-star might be slightly underrated, a guy that maybe a lot of fans will like, and he's an early enrollee. We'll see what happens with Xavion Hardy as well, another 4-star defensive lineman. But on the other side of the line of scrimmage, JC, I think South Carolina's really hit a home run here. Last year, it was Ryan Brubaker, Kason Henry, and Grayson Maines, a good group of athletic linemen that needed to get with Luke Day and build and get stronger, develop a little bit. This group, maybe a little bit more ready to contribute early on or compete. We just had Markee Anderson on about 45 minutes ago, the number 2 player in the state of South Carolina. Trovon Ball is already signed his national letter of intent. And yesterday, JC, Big Tree Babalade gets back on the board. So those 3 in particular, 3 4-stars right there to go along with Jatavia Shivers. It's an offensive. It continues to be a group that I like the direction South Carolina is building to. You got to continue to add depth, but they've got some nice pieces looking back at last year and what they're adding so far this year. And they'll probably add another guy or 2 via either the transfer portal or something here in January. Your thoughts on that offensive line group and what they're doing?
Well, I mean, on paper, and this is on paper because offensive line is a crapshoot, as we all know. If you look at the NFL draft, there's just as many 2-star guys and guys from FCS and places like that as there are, 4 and 5-star guys that get drafted. But the star ratings are a measure of potential, and you have to develop on the offensive line probably more so than any other position outside of quarterback. So what I like about it is this class, there's just athleticism and size and punch and strength and toughness up and down the board. You're talking about Markee Anderson, Trovon Ball, Big Tree, who we've talked about. Jatavius Shivers may have more upside than all of them. He's really a good player as well. So, I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is a really good bunch. And the center they signed from Yale, too, he's probably going to be the center next year. And he's a big, tough guy that, certainly has had success at the college level, played for Yale, being all Ivy League and all that. So, I think it's on paper, just a fantastic group. And, you kind of look at it, you can't really decide, which one you like the best. It's kind of like, wow, all these guys could be really, really good players in time. And, of course, Nick Gargulio from Yale, he's already quite good. Got to transition in the SEC, but there's a reason that they took him and feel like he can go play right away next year. So it's going to be interesting to see all these guys develop. And then don't forget, if you like offensive line recruiting, Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson are sitting there in state for the class of 2024. And I don't know that the state's had, Bill, that level of tackle prospect, like 2 of them at the same time in a long, long time. So that's another thing to kind of keep an eye on, and sometimes I wish people would string together and evaluate recruiting classes over like 2 or 3 years. It's hard to do. I don't think fans would have the interest if that were the case. But, when you look at it, you add those 2 next year, you had the 4 you brought in the year before that are promising. There's going to be a lot to work with on the offensive line moving forward.
Well, and that's that when you talk about offensive line recruiting, what you're saying is very true because, again, in this case, obviously 5 offensive linemen you're going to put out there. You and I have talked about it, and you mentioned the stars. Sometimes we get caught up with star ratings, 4 stars, 5 stars. With offensive linemen, it's a lot of development, and that is going to be something that you keep an eye on here because Greg Atkins is going to transition into an off-the-field role, but I like having him around the program. Lonnie Teasley likely to be the offensive line coach, and that is what you just said, JC, is part of it. There's got to be some development there for the 3 guys last year, the current 4-man freshman class. You also mentioned the transfer. And then when you talk offensive line, yeah, you're right. You point ahead to those 2 guys next year, Pringle and Thompson, who are both they're national prospects. They have offers from everybody, and I'm sure other guys will pop up as well. But for South Carolina to compete, we talked about the defensive line. That offensive line has to continue to get better as well. And in my opinion, whether you agree or not, has got to continue to get more athletic. I think that's been one of the issues I've seen is they're not as athletic as some of these defensive linemen, and that's caused some issues.
Absolutely, Bill. But the flip side of that is you're never really going to get there when you play the schedule South Carolina has. I mean, or does. You're talking 8 SEC games right now, soon to be 9, plus Clemson. I mean, those are 10 games against 10 of the best defensive lines in the country. And it's just hard. I mean, I always use the Georgia-South Carolina game in 2019 as an example. Georgia had one of the best offensive lines in the country that year. Multiple guys that went on to play in the NFL. And South Carolina with DJ Wonnum, Javon Kinlaw having the game of his life, took it to him, right? And that just happened. And I think fans need to kind of chill out about every crash in the offensive line at every turn, and have to understand that, if you can get to competitive in this league, where you can open holes, or at the end of the game you can impose your will a little bit on a defeated opponent, I think that's good enough. Protect your quarterback. I think those are all important things. But I think some people expect domination and perfection, and that's just never. I don't care how well you recruit. That's never going to happen. In most places around the league, Alabama does a pretty good job with it, but even they, get stuffed on 4th and 1 and things of that nature at times. So I think that the flip side of that is, if you don't recruit enough athletes, as you pointed out, you're dead before you even start. Yeah, I mean, you can't even get to that competitive level. You're kind of hoping and praying. And we've seen some non-athletes. I don't know that this year's offensive line is lacking a lot of athleticism. I think it's probably average athletically, is what I would say. But we've seen some around here before where, they were at a major disadvantage just about every time they went on the field, from an athleticism standpoint. So, I think with this group coming in, it increases all that across the board, and he's can continue to develop them, and hope that pays off with a heck of an offensive line here in a couple of years.
As we are talking about this, Gamecock football has just tweeted out that the national letters of intent for Big Tree Babalade and Markee Anderson have been received. They have been given the official welcome home. So for those of you wondering, I know some people on our live stream, just because of how the last about 7 days had played out, saying that they were going to wait to get too excited about Big Tree until they saw the national letter of intent come in. But Gamecock football on Twitter has tweeted out that Big Tree Babalade and Marquee Anderson's national letters of intent have been received. They are officially in the boat. And that is also followed by a Shane Beamer tweet standing on a large tree that just says mood. So, J.C., that is also come to fruition. Another guy, and I hate to do this because you and I, we've spent a lot of time driving around and going and seeing recruits and talking underrated and overrated, all these things. There are certain players in this class that maybe didn't get the attention. Dontavius Braswell was one of them. Another one to me who committed very early, was kind of under the radar, is Kelton Henderson. We do know South Carolina needs to continue to upgrade the wide receiver position, and unfortunately, it's been a bit of a difficult task for Justin Stepp, given some of the offensive production the last few years. Kelton Henderson, his national letter of intent has been received. 5'11", 180 pounds. He was a 4-star. This is another guy that taller than Ace Sanders, but watching the video, to me, that burst, that quickness, the shiftiness, that's there for Henderson. And he's a guy that is not set to enroll early, but I'm very interested to see be a part of this wide receiving group. Your thoughts on Kelton Henderson?
Yeah, he's kind of one of the more quiet recruitments I can recall. I mean, you didn't really hear much from him. Didn't hear much in terms of visits and things like that. I think he's in the Under Armour All-American game. What I saw when I was researching any news on him on his profile today on 24/7 Sports. But yeah, really good athlete. And I think Justin Stepp, people. I think sometimes fans and everybody else, they need to realize we're in a new era of college football. And that portal recruiting is not JUCO recruiting. It's not bad. Let me back up. JUCO recruiting is not bad either. But, when you sell out the recruit JUCOs, like Mississippi State under Jackie Sherrill, some of those others in disaster. Everybody remembers the Holt era. Ideally, you want to build it with high school kids. But, hey, look, it's just as good to build it through the portal nowadays. And Justin Stepp completely flipped that room. I mean, Bill in 2020, South Carolina had one receiver, and he left and went to the NFL, Shy Smith. So, I do think that maybe with the high school kids, with the previous offense. He did run into some trouble, but even that's kind of changing around now. And Henderson certainly is a really good player.
Yeah, he's a guy against South Carolina. We'll have to continue to kind of follow along and see what happens with Juice Wells. That to me, you talk about wide receiver recruiting. I know he's already on campus, and you may not be able to sell him much if he goes out and has a monster bowl game. Very possible that he ends up going on and going pro. I do think J.C. his decision could be tied a little bit with Spencer Rattler if both of them go out and have a big bowl game. But you do talk about that. If you can get Juice Wells back, Landon Sampson's a guy who's still developing. Xavier Legette has shown some really nice things at times. Amarion Brown is back. Again, I know it's a tight end position, but you throw Trey Knox in there as well. South Carolina should have some good pass catchers, but Kelton Henderson is a guy. The only thing I don't like is that he's not going to be an early enrollee, but Henderson is a guy that we're sitting there talking about who, as you just said, very underrated in my opinion, is a 4-star prospect, but was very quiet and is a guy that could come in and make more of an impact. We'll continue talking about him, get into a few other players. South Carolina recruited the safety position very hard this recruiting class. We'll talk about a couple of those guys. You're listening to J.C. Shurburtt, Bill Gunner. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get the zone, AutoZone. In the holiday spirit, I wasn't going to flag anyone for penalty laps, but when Jeff Saturday, Matt Ryan, and the Colts couldn't hold a 33-point halftime lead, I said, get your butts out there now. Jogging alongside them are New England's brain-cramped lateral lunatics. That would be Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers. I'm still having a hard time figuring out what the hell are they thinking. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage.
All right.
You don't have to drive too far to find a fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores. See details at AutoZone.com.
Buying a home? Rocket Mortgage will cover 1% of your rate for the first year at no cost to you with Inflation Buster. That's more road trip, more front row seats. Plus, if rates drop within 3 years of your home purchase, you'll get exclusive savings when you refinance with Rate Drop Advantage. Save when you buy today and refinance tomorrow. Call 833-7-ROCKET today or visit inflationbuster.com to start saving.
For lease paper requirements and other terms and conditions, visit inflationbuster.com. Call 1-833-7-ROCKET. Equal housing lender license, all 50 states, and consumer access.
Sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Good morning. On Highway 12, right at Tower Road, there's collision right there with no injuries to be seen over in that area. Also on I-2065 westbound, there's collision right there. Still no injuries right there. Drive with care, and that's the look at your traffic. And I'm Trey Nicholson.
At the dealership, people pause. How comes good old Trade-In Plus? The perfect time of year to upgrade your ride. Trade in your car while the values are high. Ho, ho, ho. Bring your old sleigh to Galliana Kia on Greystone, because we'll take any trade, regardless of condition. Are you stuck in a loan or lease? We'll get you released, even if you're over mileage, have months left, or still owe thousands. And if you're currently leasing a Kia, we'll give you up to $1,000 cash to turn it in early. You can buy a new Kia with zero, zilch, nothing down, and 0 payments for the next 3 months. If you got a
Dawkins, Birch. Yeah, you can do a few other things. Hemingway can play outside.
I-126, Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or KiaColumbia.com. Real stock number 3K1107. 0 down, 279 per month for 84 months at 6.9 APR. Price plus tax tag includes 225 plus. Negative trade equity financing. New loan sections will be approved. Expires January 3rd.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Guy Gant's company.
Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are. The Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree raising tree canopy.
What up? I'm going to do one more segment with J.C., and then if you want to hop on, we'll kind of. I mean, well, I got last minute.
Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate for the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000-square-foot facility is complete with a massive two-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai on the corner of Faro and Killian Road, where Price sells cars.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Rolling along on a Wednesday morning, National Signing Day. It is the 107.5 The Game Signing Day extravaganza coming up here in a few minutes. Heath Klein will hop on with me. J.C. Shurburtt now, though, talking about this recruiting class. And J.C., Torian Gray has done a really good job. Matter of fact, last night, haven't mentioned this yet today. There's some things we haven't mentioned that we need to. One is the passing of Franco Harris. That news coming out this morning, and certainly unfortunate. But JC, last night, Devontae Reed announcing his intention to go to the NFL. But Torian Gray's done an incredible job, especially what you saw him do with Jalen. I'm going to talk Jalen Kilgore, but what you saw him do with Darius Rush. Now they bring in this class. We've seen the development of DQ Smith and Nick Eamon-Wari, who look really good. Again, you saw Darius Rush step up. He's gone. O'Donnell Fortune is a guy that I look forward to seeing in the bowl game. Jalen Kilgore is a safety prospect that, as you and I would do our recruiting back in the day, I really liked his film. I actually think he should be ranked higher. Not only does he have good film, he had some really good offers as well. This is a young man who's going to be an early enrollee and that I think comes in and competes actually with Eamon-Wari and DQ Smith. Maybe you see Smith slide down to that nickel spot. What's your take on Jalen Kilgore at the safety spot?
Oh, I thought he was an excellent prospect. I was glad to see he finally moved up to 4 stars where he belonged. Getting him is kind of an example of why Torian Gray is one of the best recruiters in the country, because Gray trusts his instincts, doesn't really care who else offers them, what the hype is. He just goes and gets guys. I've watched him do it 10 years at Virginia Tech, watched him take the Trey Dean kid at Florida, who South Carolina ultimately did not want. I thought he was a safety. Guy was all freshman, all SEC at corner, which is harder to play. And he got in on Jalen Kilgore really early. And so by the time your Clemsons and Oklahomas of the world came around and were stepping around and offered him, the Gamecocks lead was just so insurmountable. They got it. And I think he's a fantastic player. You're right. The film is high level. When you see him in person, it's high level. Multi-sport guy, athletic, played both sides of the ball in high school. Just can't say enough good about him. I think he and Zabari Sandy both have a chance to be really good at the safety position moving forward.
We've talked a lot about different players this morning, and obviously it is a good recruiting class. As things stand right now, South Carolina has got the 18th ranked recruiting class in the country. Overall, again, I mentioned it just a little while ago. They're 7th currently in the SEC. The composite rank actually has them at 16. The 24/7 sports rank has them at 18. JC, the big thing with this, and we can kind of get into this for just a minute, is development. And that's where we just talked about Kilgore. You saw development this year with Torian Gray working with Eamon Worry and DQ Smith. You've seen some development there. Jordan Birch, I think, had a pretty good year under Jimmy Lindsay. One guy that I think is interesting, we didn't talk enough about this last week. Dow Loggins is a true quarterbacks coach. I know he was coaching tight ends at Arkansas, but this is a guy that coached quarterbacks in the NFL, and that's really his background is quarterback coaching. I don't know if we've talked enough about his development of quarterbacks, especially with that young quarterback room, and also get your take a little bit on the announcement and how you would see Lenoris Sellers potentially fitting into that quarterback room. But we talk about development. Dow Loggins being a true quarterback coach as opposed to the previous guy there who kind of bounced around, coached a whole lot of positions. That's a big deal in the hiring of Loggins, I think.
Oh, yeah. I told somebody the other day, I thought that had as much to do with it as the play calling and offensive scheme and all that. I think, when we talk about Spencer Rattler potentially coming back, I mean, you sold him on getting ready for the NFL. That's what he wants to do. I think if you go and, hire somebody to spend his whole career in college, maybe that moves the thought the other way a little bit. And I think Shane Beamer probably, you never really hire a coach for one guy, but I think at the same time in college football these days, there is no tomorrow. I mean, you win as much as you can when you can, and build up as much, clout as you can in case you do have that bad year. You know what I'm saying? Because the money's bigger and the firings are quicker these days. And so I think that had a lot to do with it. I think that with the younger quarterbacks, those that are going to still be here, because I do expect some attrition in that room, they'll benefit just from a guy that's coached at the highest level that, probably knows a lot about fundamentals and making reads and all that goes into quarterbacking. Dowell Loggins himself was a quarterback, a walk-on quarterback at Arkansas. So, I think that's the actual coaching of the position probably had a lot to do with it. Probably just as much as the play calling and the offense and all that.
And then on top of that, you do have South Carolina sitting out there waiting on Lenoris Sellers. J.C., he is a guy that I've talked with Chris Deering several times this year about his Lenoris Sellers' kind of rise and development this year. And this is a kid that maybe at the beginning, maybe back in May and April, people are like, do we really need this guy? You got Reno. We're looking at Jaden Bradford from originally from Chapin, now down at IMG. You didn't feel like maybe quarterback was the biggest need in this class. But now with Sellers, the development and skill, I think South Carolina, they're in good position to flip him. You'd love to have that talent in your quarterback room going into next season. I don't know if he'd really be able to contribute, but you'd like to see what Dow Loggins could do with him, right?
Yeah, I think Lenoris is in the too good not to take category now, which is what you want to do. Anytime you got a guy at state, and they're too good not to take, it doesn't matter what you got at the position. You need to kind of make room for them because, as we've all seen through the years, Clemson and Carolina both, the in-state guys, tend to rise to the top if they're good enough. And, we've seen that all over. That's why, like Clemson taking Jarvis Green from Dutch Fork, you keep an eye on that. You'll end up being pretty good there. The receiver from Greenville High School that's going to Clemson, Tyler Brown, he'll be pretty good there. Mashin Kelly, the corner from Daniel, they took another kid out of Daniel at Clemson. He'll be pretty good there, Bill. And I think with Sellers, it's just it's a matter of he's just too good. He's from right here in the state, and you pass on him and you put all your eggs in another basket, and he goes to Syracuse and wins the Heisman. or something, you'd feel pretty bad. But yeah, I love his skill set, his competitiveness. He's a winner, very accurate passer, good enough with his feet, certainly has elite size. So, he moved up to 4 stars too on 24/7 Sports. So he's kind of, I often think if he were going into his senior year, just completed his junior year, I think the guy would be a top 10 prospect in the country with everybody's offering. But unfortunately, in recruiting these days, I think we at times stupidly rank guys too high early, and we shouldn't rank them early at all. And I think that when we do that, nobody wants to be wrong. So it doesn't allow for a guy like Sellers to go up too high. Because, everybody's already said this 2 years ago that these are the best quarterbacks. Nobody wants to be wrong. So that's one thing that's unfortunate about the recruiting rankings business these days. But, I think Sellers too good to pass up. They want him badly, and it'll be interesting to see how his career shakes out and, what it does with the quarterback room at Carolina moving forward.
Man, we appreciate it. I know you got a busy day ahead of you. I hear the phone going off a little bit now, so there is a lot for you to get to. You got your own show that you'll be doing on what is it? You go to bigspur.com and check it out from 11 to 1 today. I know you'll have a lot of information there and a lot of analysis, even more than we've had as things kind of continue to develop. But, I always appreciate you being a part of the program.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Be good, man.
Will do. J.C. Shurburtt joining us again. Make sure you check out his show. You can go to bigspur.com. They will have a lot of analysis throughout the day there as things continue to happen. Heath Klein is in the building. Going to get him on as we continue through our Wednesday morning signing day extravaganza, having an absolute blast this morning. We'll get you some more information. There is even now rumors of a major flip. I'm not being able to find anything substantial on it, but I am telling you that there is some questions about one of the top quarterbacks in the country and where he may sign today. Again, it is the 107.5 The Game early signing day extravaganza, sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas. You can stay right here throughout the day. We will carry you through. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Finally, the holidays have arrived, but that means there's a lot to do to keep your house on track. So it's nice to know that the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning have my carpets covered this holiday season. With their all-natural, no-residue cleaner, I know my family is in good hands. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. Plus, when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you get a hallway clean for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Hey, who wants to make a resolution they can keep? Let's resolve to eat better pizza. Come on, you can do it with the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Let's start slow with the crust. We'll hand toss just for you.
No. Not that one. I'm trying to track it though. You have to, it's a tease. That's the point of it being a tease.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeant.
Let's see.
If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant.
Never mind. Okay, he is just officially signed. There were rumors that Arch Manning may flip to somewhere else, to Tennessee, but he is literally just signed just now. Texas has updated it. His NLI is in. It just came in.
If you need a special present for that special someone, count on it. Nothing conveys affection like a gift of fine jewelry. Hi, Scott here from
So Arch is in. Arch Manning is in for Texas, but there was some rumors this morning that with Quinn Ewers playing with everything and with Hendon Hooker leaving, that Arch may go to Tennessee. There was some rumors about a few other schools. I know Tennessee's got Amalama Lever or whatever the hell the kid's name is, but he is officially in. So that flip will not happen. Supposedly also Deion Sanders reached out to Arch Manning, reached out to the family. I never saw anything that indicated he would go to Colorado.
guarantee. Merry Christmas from Traditions Fine.
Yeah, but the Arch. There was just some rumors that after what they saw Hooker do, I mean, look, he's going. He's going somewhere. He's got someone already. But,
Restore your low testosterone. Some of the symptoms we find people relate to.
so Arch is in.
Lack of drive, brain fog, not sleeping well, lack of energy.
Let me guess. Where's Clinic
drive at work, play, at home. After you've been in the men's clinic and we've tailored your treatment for you and got you back to the best levels you can be, the brain fog goes away. People think clearer, sleep better, recover from exercise better. Overall sense of drive is much better.
Our relationship with Hawaii has always been a good relationship, but since I've been on this treatment plan, remarkably, surprisingly, it's gotten better.
The men's clinic is awesome. Come see us at the men's clinic. You'll find our clinic non-threatening, comfortable, open to hear your concerns. I know a lot of guys out there don't want to go to the doctor. I think you'll find our clinic's a little different than most clinics that you come see. So please give us a call and check us out online at mensclinicsc.com. We'd love to see you.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all the Mid-State has to offer when you click on MidStateRoofing.com. Tell them Mid-State Drives.
If you let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, MidStateRoofing.com.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we see clients turn lives upside down. And we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Jones. You told me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
Okay. I go to work. Medical treatment.
I've got somewhere here.
We're not as good as these.
Yeah, I think that's.
No one out and bought.
Signing Day Extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game. What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Rolling along on a Wednesday morning. Again, my final show of the week. That's okay. We've got you covered for the next few days, and we will make sure you have high quality radio around here. But we will continue to roll along and discuss a lot of things going on. I tell you what, there's a lot to get to, and today is more of a signing day stuff. Last night was also kind of a crazy night in the college basketball world. Duke losing to Wake Forest. You had Mississippi State losing to Drake last night. You do have some other things. Carlos Correa has decided to sign with the Mets this morning, 12 years, $315 million deal. Some sad news regarding Pittsburgh Steeler, former running back and Hall of Famer Franco Harris passing away. And we'll talk with Heath Klein about that. Real quick, I teased, slide so I can see Heath here. I teased right before I went to break about there were rumors last night of a big quarterback flip that could happen today. It was some tweets and some stuff I'd read. Arch Manning, some people thought, because I know that Tennessee already had the 5-star quarterback, Nick Amalama-Leva, or whatever his name is. The rumor was that maybe because of the production of Hendon Hooker, because that the Amalama-Leva is not guaranteed the starting spot, Arch Manning could flip to Tennessee. I mean, look, in this day and age of the portal, you never know what happens. Supposedly, Deion Sanders may have reached out with an offer too good to pay.
Colorado's coming, baby.
Colorado is coming. That's right. Well, during the break, literally right as I go to break, I tease it thinking I'll come back, have this great story. Literally update the Texas Longhorn website. his NLI is in, his national letter of intent is in. So you've got that that is taking place. So Arch Manning will be going to Texas and competing there. Welcome in this morning. Signing day is a big deal for you. You get very fired up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love me some signing day. Anytime we can spend a lot of time rhapsodizing about, high school kids who may or may not ever contribute a thing to the program that they're signing with, I always get excited about that.
I know that it's a big deal. You've got 3 hours of nothing but breakdowns of the entire class.
Here's the funny thing, though, Bill. People probably wouldn't believe this because back when I started, back in the mid-'90s at Florida, as a student reporter, I obsessed over recruiting for about 3 years. I mean, this was like a huge deal for me because it was the one thing that I could beat the big boys on.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Spurrier wasn't going to give some dope 20-year-old kid some scoop over Pat Dooley from the Gainesville Sun. That wasn't going to happen. But I might be able to get some scoops in recruiting. And so I got it was impossible to get an interview with Randy Moss, but I was able to find out what Randy Moss's phone number was and actually interview him and get sound bites when nobody else could get him. I broke commitments. I mean, I lived on this stuff for about 3 years. And then along came the internet, and I realized, now, wait a minute. If I get a scoop now, 5 minutes later, everybody else has it anyway. So I'm supposed to spend every night calling kids till midnight on the West Coast if it's a West Coast kid, and do it all. Screw that. And so after that, I went the other way. I mean, you remember Marcus Stroud? They put Marcus Stroud on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Do you remember this? Marcus Stroud, future first-round pick by the Jaguars. He was a good player,
right?
But he wasn't like the number one player in the country or anything. He was a good player. I had to talk to that kid over and over and over for weeks because he committed to Florida. But hey, I think he may flip to Georgia. He was a Georgia kid. Hey, he might flip to Georgia. No, I'm staying with Florida. Then signing day, he flips to Georgia, and they put him on the cover of Sports Illustrated, ripping up a Florida shirt to show a Georgia shirt underneath. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, why in the world are we incentivizing 17 and 18-year-olds? Hey, surprise everybody at the last. Do your hat dance. Do all that stuff. Why are we incentivizing that? And that was when I said, hey, get me away from this as much as possible. So, yeah, we'll talk about it. We have to talk about it. I get it.
Well,
but the others, bless the Wesses and Chris Clarks and J.C.'s and all these people who are willing to live in that world every day. I got my 3 years, and, man, I don't ever want to do that again.
It was fun. I did it. I was a big part of it. There was a lot of wild stuff. So there's a lot of great kids I met. I told the story yesterday about meeting, going down to Yulee High School to actually meet Kelvin Rainey. Who would come up and play at South Carolina, and the coach down there says, I know you're here to see this kid. I know you want to know about him, but I've got another kid we think could be pretty good. He's entering, I think he was entering his sophomore or freshman year. So we think this kid might have a chance to be a national recruit. Do you mind meeting him? And at that time, I think I was working for ESPN, and I was always instructed, if the coach brings somebody to you, meet him, take a picture, get a phone number. You never know. Okay. So, I'm trying to go from school to school. Coach is saying, I got this young kid I'd like you to meet. He brings out this monster of a human being. He goes, well, this is Derrick Henry. We don't know if he's a linebacker or a running back, but we think he might end up being pretty good.
Or possibly some sort of small level pickup truck. It could be that as well. We're looking at all the possibilities.
He brings out Derrick Henry, and I said, that's neat that where is the kid? You brought me the father. Where's I'll meet the kid. I don't need to take pictures of the father. So that was really interesting. The Jadeveon Clowney story, the first time I met him, and Clowney, who I always liked Clowney, and I had a good relationship. He took one look at me and said, how are you going to interview me? And I said, well, I'm going to ask questions. You're going to answer. And he goes, well, where's your step stool to get closer? I just went, oh, okay. You're going to be that kind of guy. I see. So yeah, it was fun. There were some wild things. You just mentioned it, go back. You talk about it. Recruiting, I think, really came to light, right? Really what happens on these visits. We always knew, there was the, what's the 30 for 30, the name just Marcus Dupree. You saw the stories about him and stuff, and you always knew something was going on. But I think it was Sports Illustrated that ran the Willie Williams.
It was Miami Herald. Willie Williams. Yeah, the linebacker, highly touted linebacker out of South Florida. He's writing about, they're serving me all these lobsters, and I'm riding in a white Escalade with Larry Coker and all that. And by the way, what kind of player did Willie Williams turn out to be?
I think what is it? He hit 3 colleges, Miami. I know there was a Louisville stop in there, and I believe there was a place that, it ended up being nothing. He wasn't like the number one prospect though.
Like he was one of the top defensive prospects in the country, but look, for better or worse, You just hope kids don't get destroyed by the process. You hope kids get the good part of it, get to see some schools, learn about what's out there, find out what you need to know to make a good decision. But you just hope kids don't get what I feel like happened to a kid like that, corrupted by the process, so full of yourself that you don't actually become the player you could be because you've had so many people blowing air up your skirt for 2 and 3 years telling you how wonderful you are. You know, that's one of the things people at Texas have talked about forever, that one of the reasons they think their program fell off is this idea that when kids from Texas commit to Texas, they just spend all their time being told what a big deal they are and how special it is that they're going to Texas. And then when they get them to college, that work ethic, that grind is kind of already gone. It's like, hey, I made it. I made it when I committed to Texas in the 11th grade. You need guys who are hungry. You need guys who want to continue to build. And I just feel like a lot of the way we cover this process is the media as a whole just sometimes creates a really bad incentive for those kids. I think it's bad news.
It was a lot. I will say I'm glad I don't do it anymore. One particular national boss, I was terrified to go to the grocery store without my phone. I would rather have gone to the grocery store with no clothes on than without my cell phone, because if you miss the story,
why not both? Really make it a fun evening, Bill.
If you missed breaking the story, you basically were looking for new employment, and that wasn't a very enjoyable line of work about 10, 12 years ago. So my phone was always attached to me. We'll come back. We'll get into a few other things going on. We'll talk with Heath about that. A lot to do today. Again, you're listening to Bill Gunner. He's Heath Klein. We got a lot going on. It is the signing day extravaganza on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Going out, purchasing a brand new vehicle, that's kind of like a signing day experience. You're adding something to the family, a big part of the family. You got a new car, truck, or SUV that's going to take you to grandma's house for Christmas. It's going to make a great trip for you next year and get you somewhere on a summer vacation. That new car, truck, or SUV is something that you get really excited about. When you go to purchase it, you want to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. The folks at Love Chevrolet guarantee that. They have the $1,000 low price guarantee where you can actually shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they'll top it or write you a check for $1,000. Hasn't happened yet. Won't happen anytime soon. They have the largest selection of vehicles anywhere in the Midlands. 14 acres of brand new Chevys to choose from. And, of course, the absolute best part is that sales staff, many of them with Love Chevrolet for over 20 years, being able to answer all your questions, provide you the knowledge to make an informed decision the next time you go to purchase a car, truck, or SUV. So go visit the people who have been doing it for 60 years right here in the Midlands, taking care of families just like yours and mine. Visit Love Chevrolet today, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
Sponsored by eBay Motors. Looking for holiday gifts that won't be re-gifted? Head to eBay Motors. With millions of parts and accessories at the right prices, there's something for every car lover on your list. And with the money you save, you can pick up something for yourself, too. Happy holidays indeed. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
There is a hit and run and no injuries over at Cement Parkway near the Brook Pine subdivision. And everything else looks good around the Midlands. That's a look at your traffic, and I'm Trey Nicholson.
Since 1964, Gateway Supply has been the Midlands leader in plumbing and HVAC supply, and now, of course, they are statewide with more than 15 locations all across South Carolina. Their showrooms are filled with bath and kitchen fixtures from classic to modern styles. Now, tap and touchless faucets. You can even talk to your kitchen sink. See them at Hamrick Street near the Fairgrounds in Williams-Brice, or Highway 6 and Whiteford Way in Lexington. Design services, expert advice for customers and contractors alike. Visit them online at gatewaysupply.net.
Do you know a special woman who deserves nothing but the best for the holidays? This Christmas, spoil her with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Naturally nude pajamas, exclusively at Pajamagram, are smooth to the touch, light as air, truly seductive. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75 nightie. Definitely an effortless way to let her know how much you care. Now you can give her 2 sensuous gifts that she'll love to relax in. But hurry. Year after year, naturally nude pajamas sell out. So here's what you need to do. Head to pajamagram.com or text the word GIFT to 41234. That's GIFT to 41234. Order today, ships tomorrow.
No! The reindeer pooped and I'm stranded. All the little girls and boys are waiting on their toys.
Chill, Santa. We'll call Schroeder's Towing. When you need a tow fast, call Schroeder's Towing 24/7, and they'll take you and your car home. Schroeder's Towing will haul anything you got to anywhere you want. Heavy equipment, coaches, buses, forklifts, even a sleigh full of toys. 772-7930. SchroedersTowing.com.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Hi, folks. Johnny Stivers here for the all-new Stivers Hyundai. Our 50,000 square foot facility is complete with a massive 2-story showroom, climate-controlled service drive, a quick service facility for your regular maintenance needs, and a huge, comfortable waiting room to rest or get work done while you wait. Now, through the end of the month, I've got 0% on most vehicles, and we have a huge inventory right now with more on the way. You'll never pay over sticker for one of my cars. So, Columbia, when you think Hyundai, think Stivers Hyundai on the corner of Faro and Killian Road, where price sells cars.
The cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning want to make sure your carpets stay clean this holiday season. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 plus. When you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you can get a hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, your Bullfrog Spa headquarters. On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
8:51 on your Wednesday morning. We wrap up this episode of the early game. Again, I'll be out tomorrow and Friday. Monday and Tuesday, I'll be back on Wednesday to start getting you ready for a bowl game. And, of course, we will have basically pregame coverage will start with me. That's right. At 6 a.m. on Friday morning, I will have my show next Friday, Carolina and Notre Dame. So a whole extended pregame, just me yapping, breaking everything down, really, really getting excited next Friday morning. So try and survive the next 4 business mornings, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday without me, and I'll be back. Big thank you to Markee Anderson for joining us earlier this program to talk about committing to South Carolina, signing day, all kinds of things. A big thank you to J.C. Shurburtt for joining us this morning as well. Heath Klein sitting in there. There are other things taking place in sports. One of them, Heath, that you can kind of speak to that I'm not quite as educated on is the unfortunate passing of Franco Harris, passing away at 72 years of age. The former Pittsburgh Steeler great. Obviously, the Immaculate Reception is a play I've seen. If you flip over to the NFL Network, it gets aired, I think, 3 times an hour. But it comes 2 days before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate. His passing comes 2 days before the 50th anniversary of that play. And you can speak a little bit better to him as a player in person, kind of knowledge that you had.
Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously was just a kid when he was playing, but in the late 70s, I thought the 2 best running backs in the league were basically Walter Payton and Franco Harris. Now, Tony Dorsett probably should have been in that conversation too, but it just seemed like Franco Harris was this dominant player. And he got criticized by Jim Brown when he was getting close to the rushing record, that Brown thought he ran out of bounds too often and whatnot, but Harris was a heck of a player. The thing that I don't think a lot of people realize about that play from 72 and the Immaculate Reception, I don't think people realize why that was such a controversial play. I think people see it now and they're just like, wow, that's a crazy play. And that's true. But do you know what the big deal was? I mean, I'm projecting. I don't know if you know or not. So there's 22 seconds left. What's funny is if the guy catches the ball, I mean, it's a first down, but the Raiders probably still win the game. But the controversy was at the time, the rules of the NFL said you could not be, if one of the players on your team touched the ball, you couldn't then be another player on the team and get it. So the controversy was the Raiders were saying, hey, it hit the Steelers player. It hit Frenchie Fuqua. He's the one who touched the ball. So that's an illegal play. So we still win. And the official said, no, we think it hit Tatum. And so that, and you could slow it down. You can watch it. Maybe now with the cameras we've got now, maybe we could get a real answer. I think that it probably did hit Tatum, but it is almost impossible. They've tried with NFL films and all the angles they've got. They can't conclusively say which guy it hit. And so that's the thing. If that ball hits the Steelers player, that play comes off the board. But because the official said, nah, it hit Tatum, play stands, completely improbable way to win a game. And here's another thing, Bill. If you go to Pittsburgh's airport, there are two statues in Pittsburgh's airport right next to each other. One is of Franco Harris with the Immaculate Reception. The other is of George Washington. No one. They literally did a study on this. No one takes a picture with George Washington. No one even looks at George Washington. No one cares. Yeah. Everybody's picture is with Franco Harris bending down to get that ball right as it's about to hit the turf for the Immaculate Reception. I mean, that just tells you what a defining play it is. Go to the Pittsburgh airport and watch. No one cares about George Washington. What did he ever do for the Steelers?
Yeah, I don't.
He didn't get to one Super Bowl with the Steelers.
Didn't
George
throw
Washington
a single
Bill.
touchdown for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett and Matt Mitchell Trubisky, much better quarterbacks than George Washington ever was or will be. Panthers, Steve Wilkes get the job?
I mean, I think at this point it's pretty close to being forced on him, really. I mean, if certainly if they make the playoffs, it is. But the problem is, if you look at it, Bill, the way they played, as hard as they played for him, I think a lot of people hoped and wanted the Panthers to get an offensive head coach. But look around. Who is an offensive head coach that is not named Sean Payton that is proven? There's guys who are offensive coordinators who are going to get head coaching jobs. But there's not that guy who you could point to and say, that for sure is a guy who makes your offense way better than Steve Wilkes. My guess is he gets a deal, but the deal is probably not exactly a big money deal. It's kind of a prove-it deal. And if in a year the interim thing was great, but the real thing didn't live up to it, then you move on. But yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance 23, he's the guy unless they lose out.
Panthers didn't tank. They're not going to get Bryce Young. They're probably going to keep Steve Wilkes. I don't know if this is what Panthers fans signed up for. Today, Christmas carols and Christmas movies on the Heath Klein Show.
Hey, man, some of us are working the rest of the week. We don't have time for
You're working
nonsense
one more
today.
day
We got
than
the
me.
Shane Beamer press conference and Cruton. Lots of Cruton, Bill.
Shane Beamer, 3 o'clock today. So Heath will open his program. You can hear Shane Beamer right here on 107.5 The Game. You'll actually be able to hear the women's basketball game also on WISW later today. Y'all have a great Christmas. Talk to you next week.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL
with live local radio.
107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
A Cumulus media station. 107.5 The Game's early signing day extravaganza
Is sponsored.
Tyler. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Merry Christmas to everybody. Y'all survive the next 4 business days, and I will see everybody on Wednesday. Back here in studio. Y'all take care. Merry Christmas.